Coming up Thursday, the Lakers try to move one game closer to the NBA Finals, and we are one day closer to Week 3 in the NFL. Thursday on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
It is game day eve here in Jacksonville. Boy, that short week gets at you after you're fast. I was talking to Josh Allen today. He's like, can't wait for the game. Oh, wait, tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Always will be enamored with how much of a bubble players live in. And just kind of moment by moment, hour by hour, especially in the season, that everything else that we kind of look at and think about and see, they kind of don't. It's fascinating and incredible and almost say it in a complimentary way. I mean, that's how much of a zone they get locked into. I think during Josh Allen's news conference yesterday, he said something about, I haven't even seen how they came back in the end of that game because I'm not there yet. And, he didn't, it's not like he watched the Sunday Ticket.
Yeah. It's like the NFL Red Zone.
Yeah, he doesn't see the Red
football.
Zone channel.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching the highlights on Sunday night even, So how much of the games did you watch after? Like when you played, did you go watch other NFL games?
No, back when I played, I wasn't playing fantasy football or anything like that. I didn't want to watch football. I just tried to get away from it. So I didn't really watch any football set aside from the game film that I was assigned to watch for the up and coming week or whatever. But besides Monday Night Football, primetime football games, didn't really watch much of it.
Well, it's interesting you say that because in our business, right, we listen or watch, and TV especially, been doing it for 20 years. I used to, every show I did, I'd go back and watch. So I wasn't that different than a player where you'd watch the film.
Wait, so you watch yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Well, because I'd go watch and see, all right, how bad did I stink today? What do I have to get better at? Before any of the reps. Now, in hindsight, one of the biggest failures I think we do have because we get so wrapped up, we're so dated, we're working on a 90-minute special tomorrow on TV. We just don't sit there and have time, it seems like, to say, hey, guys, let's get together and watch a show back and see what we could do better. You just don't do that a lot. You just have to have a feel for it. And I don't know if you ever stop getting better, but you stop kind of critiquing yourself as you go along in TV. But at the early going, I used to watch all the time. My sports director, when he was on it, I wasn't even on much. He would watch his show all the time. And he had been in the business, 7, 8, 10 years by then. So that's just it's no different than an NFL guy, right? Or an athlete watching their at-bats or their film. But the other thing we do is we watch everybody else in TV. I don't really listen to everybody. I mean, you can't sit there and listen to a 3-hour show. Yeah. What other folks, I don't have the time to do that. Maybe others do. But in TV especially, early on, and in this market for sure, we'd watch the other stations. Be like, all right, what are they doing? We'd even try to record it, or now there's ways to get it anyway, and say, I wonder what they led with today. You know what? Now, I've really stopped doing that over the years, too. But it's just interesting how in your world, you're not – or the players' world, a lot of times, they're not watching all these other games saying, hey, how did that pass rusher do? How did this quarterback do? They just live in that own little world, and what we're doing is what we're doing.
Let me ask you this. In terms of your job, whether it's on the radio or, it's doing, obviously, the TV stuff, do you ever get afraid that if you watch too much of other people, you start to develop their habits? Because, that's what, I'll be honest with you, I don't listen to any really sports radio besides what I do on this show just because, and it's not like, I'm just busy and I have other stuff to listen to, but I just feel like if I listen too much to one show or if I try to copy what they're doing, I'm going to turn into them, and then all of a sudden I'm not really unique anymore.
Yeah, that's a great call, and I actually took that more so in radio. Now, in TV, TV, one of the flaws of the business, in my opinion, in TV overall, not just in sports, is that they look at everybody else and they react to everybody else. Right. So every news director in TV that's in the country has 3 screens up at 6 o'clock.
Really?
And they have the 2 other channels or 3 other channels or whatever in their channel. And as soon as somebody else is doing something else, this is the way it's always been, at least in my experience.
Sure.
I don't know if everybody does this. I'm pretty sure everybody does this.
That's true.
And so when somebody else says, has that lead or has this story or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh, that's kind of they react to us. We react to them.
Sure.
All that stuff, which I just think it's a dangerous place to be. You're always chasing chasing the cat's tail there,
Exactly.
instead of just believing in what you're doing.
Correct.
And so I never did. I kind of more was curious in other, kind of like how the market was in this 3-minute sportscast that the other stations might be doing. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, you're like, you know what? I think what we're doing is pretty good. I don't really. Maybe they're watching us, but I'm not really watching them. Like, I haven't watched them in a long time, unless I just happen to watch, but not from a critical point of view. And so I think, now I'll say this, in the radio side was really interesting. We're getting deep into business here to start the show.
We are, man.
But even when I was at the other place, the competition now, I wouldn't listen all day to that station.
Yeah.
And now I still don't, but I just wasn't, it wasn't a habit, because to what your point is, I didn't want to subconsciously steal their opinions or say something they might have said and kind of gets caught up in your mind, like as a take that you might have.
Sure.
And so I don't know if people believe it or not, but I really hadn't listened much at all, even when I was over at the other place. And now still that's the case. I just don't even watch a lot of other sports because I don't want to take other people's takes. I want my own thoughts to be my own thoughts. Yeah. And whether you want that or not, sometimes it's hard to separate it, right? We can be having a take and a conversation, and all of a sudden, bam, like something comes up that you heard at 10 o'clock this morning on Get Up, and you're like, oh, that was what they said. It kind of goes through your mind. Yeah. So I always think of this. We're in a small town and a lot of Jags conversation. Like, if we're having a topic today, I wonder if a listener who's been bopping around is like, they probably stole that topic from somewhere else. Like, maybe. I have no idea what the other folks have talked about today. I have those are just the topics we come up with. But there's a decent chance that you could hear the same topic come up in the same day.
Well, and it's a great point, whether it's with, TV, radio, and it's even in the NFL or in MMA, like if you focus too much on your opponent and what they do, you take away what you do well, right? Then all of a sudden you get caught up in a little bit, you get caught in your own head, and this happens to NFL coaches all the time. Like the NFL coaches don't want to believe what they have in the field. They want to, all right, well, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. Look what they're doing there. If you guys take care of business, what you're supposed to do, you're going to be okay. Yeah. Usually.
And what do we say about the NFL, right? And this is no different than our industry, I guess. And probably a lot of industries. I just don't know folks' industries. But it's a copycat league.
Correct.
Well, it's a copycat league for a reason. They're watching. Like the players might not be watching, but coaches are watching. And it's really one of the great transitions in the NFL right now. What are we seeing? What did you ask Jason Fitz about?
Yeah.
The college concepts, right? We are seeing quarterbacks that better be dual threats. And while that took a little while to come to fruition, and while we're seeing some of the top quarterbacks in the game be able to move, it's not that new in terms of like this year, last year, or the year prior. It took a little while to get to this point. But I'll never forget Gus Bradley's inaugural press conference in Jacksonville, hired in 2013. He said to the media, I can remember it clear as day, this big pile of media, and he said, well, we want to have a mobile quarterback if we can. Where did he come from? Russell Wilson.
Correct.
In Seattle. And that was starting to be like, you better have a guy that can move. And as a defensive guy, that's a tougher guy to plan for. That's a tougher guy to play against. So not that Russell Wilson was the first ever mobile quarterback, but since Russell Wilson, how many mobile quarterbacks have come in and have been very successful? And now we have a league full of mobile. In fact, you asked the question yesterday, can you even be good at the QB spot anymore if you're not mobile or 40 years old and just smarter than everybody?
Correct. And I remember one of the very first things I brought up on the show was the future of the NFL quarterback and where it was going to go, right? And I didn't really mention the dual threat quarterback. I mentioned more of these baseball players that are now quarterbacks,
Good
right?
point.
Because let's be honest here.
Got to come back to Kyler Murray somehow.
I know, man.
All the way to start a show, we got to come back to Kyler
10
Murray.
minutes? Yeah, well, I did pretty good for myself today.
That's pretty good. 10 minutes
I've been trying to wean myself off of Kyler Murray talk. But no, whether it's Russell Wilson, I don't think Dak Prescott actually played baseball or not. But
I bet a lot of those guys could throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Exactly. But the point is, listen, if you play baseball, odds are that you're pretty nimble, fast-footed athlete, right? So you can kind of do both things. And I still think that's where the league is going. I think in the future, we're going to have these dual sport athletes, that are just ingrained in football, but they play other sports, whether it's basketball or baseball. And these guys are going to be the future of the NFL.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And I think we still are waiting on that.
Sure.
But your point with the Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson's, Kyler Murray's is right on.
Alex Magoo. Remember, because I asked him about it in the locker room. Yeah, he was a baseball player. Yeah. Shout out to Alex Magoo, by the way.
What will be really interesting for somebody to dig that story up, even even now, but maybe in another 5 years, because guys like John Elway played baseball, right? Mm-hmm. So, and one of the best of all time, played baseball. My guess is others did. Dan Marino and others. Now, what's really interesting in that conversation is back then, those guys also played basketball, baseball, and football.
Correct.
Right? There was no specialization or as much. And so now you're in a world of specialization, yet we still see some of the elite quarterbacks come from the baseball background. Mm-hmm. They could easily go play baseball if need be, much like John Elway back in the day. And this is more of a specialized world. So I still think that's one connection you can make. Football and baseball, from a dual sport standpoint, it's doable. It doesn't run in. Basketball's in the middle in most high schools, right?
Correct.
Or in most AAU worlds or whatever.
Correct.
And so it's hard because there's overflow. Well, baseball's a little different because there's some separation. You can heal up from the football season. You can still come out and play baseball. And if you're a pitcher, let's be honest, you don't have to hit every day. Like Kyler Murray. See, the hard part for Kyler Murray, in my opinion, is he was not a pitcher. Mm-hmm. And so to hit, it's like anyone's craft, but in hitting especially, if you're not hitting once or twice a day, well, you're losing ground. You take 2 days off hitting, it's like starting all over. Mm-hmm. So Kyler Murray, where would he find time to hit all the time and be ready to face that kind of caliber of opponent in professional baseball? I think it would be very difficult to do. But if you are a pitcher, well, you don't have to worry about the hitting all fall. Just keep your arm loose, ready to go. Make sure you're healthy, and then zing some fastballs in there in the spring.
And also, we got to talk about like Aaron Rodgers, probably the hottest quarterback in the NFL right now. He played baseball.
He was a baseball guy.
He actually had a lot of scholarships to play baseball. I think he had an opportunity to play baseball at Cal.
He did.
But chose not to, though. Yeah,
did it say how fast he threw?
He was a pitcher. I didn't say how fast he threw, but he was a pitcher.
Well, what's interesting nowadays, too, is like it's weird. Aaron Rodgers, who could really chuck it.
Yeah.
But even he goes back now to those baseball days. That's some 15 years ago, probably.
Sure.
Right? Well, he might have thrown like 90, 92. Mm-hmm. Well, today's translation, Aaron Rodgers with that kind of arm, right, really throw like 96, 97.
Yeah.
Now, it's not totally relatable, football to baseball. It's a different throwing motion. Mm-hmm. But you just figure a guy that can chuck the football like that had to be able to throw a pretty darn good four-seamer.
I'll tell you what, Brent. Exactly. I smell a Netflix documentary, man.
I'm waiting for it. It's a great one. It's a great in-depth one. I wish we had time to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a fascinating look at where the game has gone. Again, you can go back to the ways and probably many others.
Sure.
But in this specialized world, that baseball background that you're bringing up, which I thought was a great notation. I never really thought of it like that. You're getting guys like Mahomes and Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson that are doing things with the football that we just it doesn't look normal.
Correct.
Right? You might see a once in a 20-year guy. Yeah. We're seeing 3 different guys do it and probably more.
Yeah.
So fascinating look. And once again, an unanticipated way of starting the show.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
On a Wednesday. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We'll get in the Dolphins a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, South Beach Gary's awfully quiet.
Really quiet, man. I think South Beach Gary knows what's up right now.
How much can you spend on a defense for it not really to be that good?
Or a secondary, for that matter.
I feel like, are we allowed to say that around here? I mean, Jags had spent a lot of money on their defense the last couple of years, and that one really that good.
It's a good point. You know what? I think our linebackers are playing pretty well, though, man. That's like the highest paid unit, I think, on the field right now.
I'm talking like 18 and 19.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
or are they disappointed?
Yeah, for sure.
And they were pretty highly paid. But still, Miami Dolphins are interesting, right? They were supposed to be tanking last year. They're supposed to be the year where they creep up. I don't think this is like, whoa, look out, Miami. Here they are like Arizona. That's not the case. Tua is still wherever Tua is, but their defense is supposed to be pretty good. I think it's an interesting matchup. A desperate Miami team against a pretty hot offense right now early in the season here in Jacksonville, which I have never uttered that phrase in my life.
Feels good, though, doesn't it?
Kind of cool.
Feels good, yeah.
I've never done that before.
Rolls off the tongue.
We'll talk about it. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690 when we come back on a Wednesday.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A beautiful day today under mostly sunny skies. It'll be a little bit warmer, but the humidity is still comfortable with highs between 80 and 85. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save thousands right now with Beards' unbeatable deals.
It's a busy time right now as the kids head back to school. COVID-19 is still lingering and flu season is right around the corner. Clean air and home comfort have never been more important. Clean air equals healthier air. Your friends at Bold City Heating and Air offer duct sanitation and air purification, meaning not only will your Bold City Heating and Air be chilly cold, but also free of any microbacteria or nasty viruses that may try to make your home their home. Never fear what you can't see again. For only $499, a Bold City Heating and Air sanitation and purification package will give you peace of mind knowing your family is breathing fresh, clean air. Let the team at Bold City Heating and Air take care of your air and comfort. Be bold with COVID and flu season and sanitize your ducts for only $499. Simply with a call to Bold City Heating and Air at 904-379-1648. That's 904-379-1648. Or visit boldcityac.com. Bold City Heating and Air. Be bold and stay cold.
Our 20% off on Equinox was so popular last month, we've decided to extend it and add the popular Chevy Trax to the offer. Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. Right now, you can save up to 20% on the Chevy Trax or Equinox during Gordon's end of summer event. We have a huge supply starting at around $18,000. That's right, $18,000 for a brand new SUV. Stop by and see us, and while you're here, save up to 20% on Trax or Equinox. Gordon Chevy on the money-saving end of Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy. Find new roads.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
Donato's Pizza is proud to support the Florida State Seminoles. When it comes to pizza for game time, we can suit any taste. From 100 pepperonis on a large loaded edge-to-edge on smoked provolone and Romano, to our delicious and healthy cauliflower crust tomato bruschetta with plant-based sausage, to mariachi chicken, to the founder's favorite, and more. We offer a convenient pickup window or prompt delivery. Just give Donato's a try. That's all we ask. Order at 904donatos.com or call 904-DONATOS on your phone.
With COVID-19, even more local families need food, and kids could use something to smile about. Give a gift in any amount to Jewish Family and Community Services, and it will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jags.
ESPN 690 wants you to shop the 904. And by doing that, you keep most of the money and jobs right here on the First Coast. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Hey, boss, guess who I saw at the grocery store today?
I don't know. Elvis?
No, I saw your mom.
Ah, she doing good today?
Yeah, she's great. Said to say hello. Oh, and to thank you again for the Safe Touch security system you got her.
Ah, Safe Touch. The source of all my internal conflict.
Huh?
See, on one hand, as a cook, I hate Safe Touch security. But as a son, I love Safe Touch because they help protect my ma.
Yeah, she loves having the medical and panic buttons. Oh, and the two-way communicator's been great. She says Safe Touch makes her feel safe.
And so my personal tug-of-war continues. I hate Safe Touch. I love Safe Touch.
Well, love 'em or hate 'em, we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us motto. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah. Unless it's Mom's house.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Did you know breast cancer kills 113 people every day? That's unacceptable.
African American women die from breast cancer nearly 41% more than Caucasian women.
That's unacceptable.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of all cancer deaths for Hispanic women.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Together with Susan G. Komen, we're committed to reducing U.S. breast cancer deaths by half.
And we're going to do it by 2026.
Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
Sometimes you go to a place and you just feel at home. That's the way it is at the golf course at Southampton, and you can make it your home course. Membership program starting at just $79. The brand new practice facility has been a huge hit. It's a fun course, player-friendly course, so get your buddies, your friends, go play some golf and have some fun at the golf club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 golf tournament, and it can be your home course as well. For information on memberships, call 904-287-PLAY. That's 904-287-PLAY.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by ***, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded *** Mobile number, *** Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile.
Everybody's taking advantage of Diamonds Direct's 5-year zero-interest financing offer. In fact, our store hours have been extended to include this Sunday to accommodate the demand. But hurry, this offer ends September 30th. Pick any item, get the Diamonds Direct amazing value price, make no down payment, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Whether your purchase is $3,000 or $30,000, you can do this. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit. And remember, we'll be open this Sunday afternoon for your convenience. Get details and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
Every year, over 1 million fires burn in America. Fortunately, firefighters are on the job, saving life and property, and you can be a part of it. 7 out of 10 firefighters and emergency responders are volunteers. There's no typical firefighter. Anyone can volunteer to serve their community. Volunteering as a first responder is really about having the heart and drive to make a difference where it's needed most. Your community needs you. Are you ready to answer the call? Learn more and find local volunteer opportunities at makemeafirefighter.org.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The facial hair gauntlet has been thrown down as this Thursday, it's Fitzmagic versus Minshew Mania. And Ryan Fitzpatrick launched the opening salvo saying this about mustaches.
I think guys that grow mustaches a lot of times have patchy sides for their beards, so they just stick with the mustache.
And then Jags quarterback Gardner Minshew responded in kind with this.
Yeah, I think I've shown I can grow a beard with no patchy sides. But you know, I'm gonna have respect for my elders. You know, especially when they're much, much older.
It'll all be settled tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football when the Jags face the Dolphins. And elsewhere in the NFL, the BOAT, Blake Bortles, was just signed to a 1-year contract in Denver to help ease their injury-plagued quarterback room. You're working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Austin Lane.
I want you to put yourself in Leonard Fournette's shoes. Probably a little bigger shoes than you're rocking right now. Shocker, you're wearing sandals, and that's all good, though.
Brent Martineau.
Well, you are, too. They're just like, I mean, they're just like, look
I
like
might
Vans.
as well be. I might as well be.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back. Big news out of Jags headquarters here, and it's not good on the injury front. It's a bit surprising, but Josh Lambo will not play. He's going to IR. Josh Lambo, the Jags kicker who's been just about automatic, has a hip injury, will miss at least the next few games. Now, the good news about IR is you can really use that as a tool this year and put guys on for a few weeks and say, hey, go rest up and get ready. You don't have to wait that 8 weeks, and it's not just one guy on there. So there's a lot of flexibility with the roster this year and what you can do. But that's huge news for the Jags. I mean, Josh Lambo has been so good. Obviously, the squib kick and the extra point, you wonder if the hip had anything to do with that, or what looked like he slipped on the squib kick, maybe that's what aggravated it. Who knows? Because later in that game, he did miss the extra point. Made another extra point later on. But not good news for the Jaguars from a special team standpoint. And also, Brandon Linder's out. I don't think that's a surprise. Tyler Shatley will go in his place. Now, Brandon Linder played at an all-pro level, a Pro Bowl level last year. And Jags really liked the season. And if they had won more, he might have gotten more national love and love from his peers. But he's a good player. Shatley came in and did a nice job. So I think they're okay with that, but you still have to acknowledge that Linder's a better player and one of the better players at that position in the NFL, I think. At least that's the way he's been playing.
I mean, without a doubt, he was praised last year as definitely being the best part of that offensive line. A team captain says a lot about just what he brings to the table, not only as, a center, but also just in that locker room as well. So that's going to be a big miss for them. Also with Josh Lamb being out now, too. That's two big guys right now, Brent, that are out.
Yeah, and who knows? It's hard to predict how it could impact the football game. We'll have to see how the football game plays out and what kind of kicks come into play and what the Jaguars do. There is a third one now that you got to keep your eye on. DJ Chark is questionable in this game, had chest injury coming out of that game. And again, it's a short week. So on a normal week, maybe a guy like DJ Chark's all right. Maybe a guy like Brandon Linder's okay. But because it's a short week, now listen, nobody's feeling bad for the Jags. I mean, there are injuries all around the league. And quite frankly, the Jaguars, to have their kicker and their center not out for a long, long time is probably good news. Chark will be interesting to see if he goes. Obviously, they have Dede Westbrook in the bullpen if they need him. They haven't used him the first two games. But Chark, to me, is pretty significant because you can do a football game and not even use the kicker, essentially, other than extra points.
Yeah.
Until
the game's on the line, though.
Well, I know, but you can, is my point.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
You want your number one wide receiver, and that's the biggest question mark to me. Again, Shatley is certainly capable in that position over Linder. So of the injuries where they rank, I would certainly be the most concerned right now about DJ Chark, even though he hasn't been ruled out of the game. But he is questionable for the game. I think it's a big thing if they can have DJ Chark. This offense has been such a rhythm. You'd love for that to not get broken up, even though they do have a pretty capable replacement in Dede Westbrook.
And this is the worst case scenario here. If they do lose DJ Chark for this game, who's the one receiver?
Yeah, it's not Laviska Shenault, in my opinion. I will say that. But Keelan Cole has been the number one guy. I think he becomes the number one target. But and we've talked about this. We just spent a lot of time on it yesterday. That's not the way they're built. Number one this week could be Chris Conley. Number one next week could be DJ Chark, then Keelan Cole. I still think DJ Chark is their guy, right? I mean, he leads that group in terms of skill set. He went to a Pro Bowl last year. I think you want to get him the ball. You have to get him involved. Like, you can't see a stat sheet and DJ Chark has no catches. Like that I would say, well, your offense probably didn't do well. He only had like 3 catches last week. Yeah. So I don't know where the balance is in that, but DJ Chark would be a significant loss. Linder, like we said, you have Shatley there and you feel okay about it, and I know they feel okay about it. Very capable at the center position. The Lambeau thing is significant, man. This guy he just has not missed much. I know he's coming off a missed extra point. And that gaff on the power kick, if you will. But he has been so good. In fact, he's never missed a kick at this stadium.
Yeah.
He's never missed. That's an unbelievable stat that he hasn't missed here in Jacksonville. That's how automatic he has been. So you'd start off a show a day before a game, you're like, oh, my gosh, I lost the kicker. Well, the kicker on this football team has been very, very good. And on top of that, I think they need their special teams to play well to win football games. I think might have cost them a game last week because they didn't have their best game. Their margin for error on this team is not big. It's not big in the NFL to begin with. It's not big for this team, especially. And so to win football games, you need guys like Lambeau and special teams, I think, to perform well week in, week out. You feel like you have an advantage there. Well, they didn't use it as an advantage last week, and now going into this one, I'm not sure they have an advantage anymore because their star kicker's out.
Listen, I'm not sure how long the Jaguars have known that Josh Lambeau is not going to play this game. That remains to be heard, but the biggest point I'm trying to make here is the fact that, you play tomorrow. Okay, so you have to sign a kicker. Like, you have to get a guy on your team right now. You have to work out kickers to see who can we go with going forward for the next 3 weeks or however long Josh Lambeau's out for. And it's just not easy. Hey, we have to book you a flight. You have to fly maybe from the West Coast. There's a lot of things right now that are in play. So I'm not sure if the Jaguars have.
They were ready for it. Brandon Wright is the kicker.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, Brandon Wright.
Nicely done. Question already answered.
Who is Brandon Wright?
Looking up Brandon Wright right now.
Here he is from Georgia State. Rookie, 5'10", 180 pounds from Georgia State. That's
All right.
Brandon Wright.
Anything else? What's he into?
I don't know.
What's his personality like? All right, I see on it. There we go. Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out, huh?
They obviously they were ready for this.
Sure.
But they honestly I don't know much about Brandon Wright.
Yeah.
So you are exactly right. Does this game come down Thursday night to a kick late, and you got a guy from Georgia State who is very unproven, has never been. He's got to start on Thursday Night Football, and it's a significant concern. I don't think you go crazy about the kicking situation until you need to go crazy about the kicking situation.
Right.
And let's be honest, last week during that game, we went a little crazy about the kicking situation, and that was with Josh Lambo. So it certainly doesn't bode well. But again, as far as injuries go, it looks like Lambo will return. Hopefully this isn't significant. Remember, they signed Lambo to an extension, and he has just been so good. I mean, he has been absolutely fantastic. You can't understate it. He is to the Jags what Justin Tucker has been to the Ravens. I mean, and that is not an overstatement. I mean, that is what he has been in the last couple of years. He has been that good. He had a better year than Tucker last year, and still didn't get voted as the guy because Tucker's got such a good reputation. Ravens do so well. But any accolade that Lambo would have got last year, he had earned. I missed one kick.
No, I mean, absolutely. That's the problem when you don't win a lot of games. You know, I mean, obviously the Ravens did what they did, and Justin Tucker, he was the talk of the town. Josh Lambo was doing his thing in Jacksonville, but unfortunately the Jaguars only mustered up 6 wins. So, I mean, it is what it is from that standpoint.
All right, so that's the news here out of Jacksonville, that Josh Lambo goes on IR, hip injury. And Doug Marrone was just talking to the media during the start of our show, and that came out about 10 minutes ago. So not great there. And we'll see what happens tomorrow night. And maybe, listen, I know nothing about Brandon Wright. Who is Brandon Wright? We'll start hitting the Google search engine and try to figure it out. But there's no doubt they're going to have to kick the ball at some time. You hope. Extra points and probably some field goals.
Yep.
So he'll get tested tomorrow night. This offense has been in really good shape so far through 2 games. And that's what's interesting about this Miami Dolphins team. The Dolphins come in really desperate. They're 0-2, and I think if you look at their schedule after this, they've got some barn burners, man. I mean, I think Seattle's on the horizon. The next 3 games after Jacksonville, I think, are really tough on paper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just played 2 tough teams on paper as well.
Their start. And, that's worth noting. A lot of times Jaguars fans, and sometimes rightfully so, you complain about the schedule because you're like, oh, man, they don't get a break at all. They got to do this. They go on the road for 3 games, whatever. They have the 1 game, 42 days because of the London trip, whatever it might be. The Jaguars, they played 2 pretty good teams to start the year. But there have been some teams that have started like, wow. Dallas, who'd they play? The Rams, the Falcons, they go to Seattle next.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's teams that have started like that. Houston, right? Chiefs, the Ravens, and Houston's in Pittsburgh this week.
Correct.
I mean, it could be a lot worse. Now, the schedule lines up very nice for the Jags for the next month. Yeah. They've got 4 straight 0-2 teams. So, of all the things to complain about sometimes in Jacksonville, the schedule ain't it. The schedule has lined up.
Well, especially Miami. Like, listen, they might have had the first 2 hardest games. I mean, you had Buffalo. I'm sorry, you had New England first.
Yeah.
Then you had Buffalo. Like, those are pretty 2 solid teams, I think. I mean, they're both 2-0 right now, I think, for a reason. So, yeah, so the Dolphins have had some tough games, to say the least. And keep in mind, I mean, say what you want about the secondary right now. We'll start breaking it down here in a little bit. And say what you want about the Dolphins as a football team. But they gave the Buffalo Bills a run for their money. And the Buffalo Bills are my favorite to win that division this year. So, they can play some football. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, they listen, I think they're better than their record indicates right now. But they also have some issues. And the problem is the NFL is so bizarre because, obviously the Patriots they didn't score a lot against them. What was it, 21 points? I think they went 21-11 in that game, in that opener. And then Buffalo just blitzed them. And I don't mean on defense. I mean blitzed them on offense. I mean, Josh Allen was unbelievable in that game. They had 300 yards. So that defense really looked not so good. And they spent a lot of money, especially in the secondary, but a lot of money on that defense. Here's what the Dolphins have next. They have the Seahawks at home. They have the 49ers on the road. Now, 49ers are a little different right now in the way they're beat up on injuries. Then they go to Denver. Then they have the Chargers at home and the Rams at home. I mean, you're talking the Dolphins could be worse in the first 8 games than they were last year, and everybody thought they were trying to tank.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, welcome to the NFL.
Yep.
And the Dolphins, again, they're supposed to take the next step. I don't think they're there offensively, right? I mean, they get rid of Laramie Tunsil. Gesicki's like one of their best players on offense.
Well, and if you're a fantasy football player, might want to take a look at Gesicki because right now the Jaguars have had trouble shutting down the tight end.
Yeah, they always do. And so Gesicki's a nice play. But after that, Parker and, I mean, Fitzpatrick is, he can be good, can be bad. He still doesn't scare the heck out of you. Their offense, they're kind of limited, I think, on the offensive side. They don't scare me offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Devontae Parker is super underrated just because of the team that he plays on. I think he's actually a pretty reliable receiver. Preston Williams, I think, he's the guy I sang about last year a little bit when I was talking to South Beach Gary all the time. I like Preston Williams. I'm not sure, is he playing? Is he out? I don't know if he's injured right now or not, but Preston Williams is a guy to keep an eye on. Listen, the story of this team is they invested in 2 things. In my opinion, they invested in their run game. They brought in Matt Breida. They still have Jordan Howard on their team. They invested in their run, team, and then they also invested in their secondary. Right? They have Xavier Howard. They have dude from Dallas,
Byron Jones.
Who
likely won't play.
Yep. And then they obviously invested that first-round pick on Noah Igbenogany. Yes, nailed it. There it is. Noah Igbenogany.
Sure.
I'm just trying to show some respected players out there, man. I try to get your guys' names right because you guys earned it. I mean, if you're a first-round pick from Auburn and you're getting first-round money, I'm going to try to pronounce your name right. So one more time for the kids at home, Noah Igbenogany.
Very good.
Huh?
Did you sneeze?
Oh, yeah.
They went they went heavy in the secondary.
Yeah.
They really tried to fix that secondary.
And here's my point. You spent your resources on 2 things, and those 2 things are kind of biting you in the butt right now because the run game is really non-existent. And then their secondary right now, there's a couple injuries here, there, but their secondary, too, is giving up a lot of points right now. So there is a little turmoil in Miami, to say the least.
Well, 93 yards a game for the running backs. They're averaging 3.8 yards a carry. So Jaguars are going to try to stop the run. It'll be interesting to see if Miami's already given up on the run, especially given the fact that everybody's been passing all over the Jags. I mean, Fitzpatrick has had some huge days in the past, so he could do it again. I mean, he has the ability to do it, but you would think they're going to attack through the air, right?
I think so. I mean, they seem to like this guy, Myles Gaskin, who, I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about him. I mean, I'm more familiar with Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. But for whatever reason, right now, Myles Gaskin's getting all the reps, and he's getting the kind of lion's share of the carries, and he's doing okay. He's averaging 5.4 yards a carry right now, so that's not bad, right? So you got to shut him down, I guess. Once again, don't really know much about this guy, so you got to shut him down. And obviously, Josh Allen on the show, kind of echoed that a little bit, where it's like we got to shut down the run first, and then get into pass rush situations here. I think that's going to be the plan. I think you shut down Howard, Breida, or Gaskin, whoever it's going to be. You force Fitzpatrick into 3rd and longs and things like that. You pin your ears back and you go.
So here's the thing. They've given up 450 total yards per game so far. This is only 2 games. That's why it's a little hard to get caught up in numbers. But they are off to a slow start. Let's just say that. 450 yards per game. 10 of 20 on 3rd downs, which the Jaguars were awesome on 3rd downs last week. This game really could be 3rd downs. Can the Jaguars continue to be efficient? I thought Jay Gruden had a great soundbite yesterday. He said, listen, if we don't do that on 3rd downs and we only convert half of those, we probably only score 14 points in the game. So you have to be able to continue drives. And I think Gardner has been so good on 3rd downs here in these first 2 games. The Dolphins have not been good, so you can guarantee you that in Miami and in those meeting rooms, they're like 3rd down, 3rd down, 3rd down. We got to get teams off the field, much like the Jaguars defense is probably saying as well. It's an interesting matchup because I do think Miami will be desperate. The way the NFL works is they're not as bad as, like people come in and be like, the Jags are favored now, 0-2. This is an easy win. Nah, it just doesn't work that way. Because here you go 24 hours before the game, and now you don't have Josh Lambo. You don't have Brandon Linder. You might not have DJ Chark. Things change and feelings change. So I think we'll see a desperate team. The question is, can we continue to see a Jaguars team that has performed pretty well on the offensive side of the ball. I think defense is hit or miss. But on offense, can they continue the momentum? Can they make it 3 weeks in a row and kind of establish that identity, right? We've asked that all offseason, what's the identity of this football team? Well, right now, the identity of this football team is their offense. Yeah. Their offense can really move the ball. You want the ball in their hands. That is a good thing to say, but that's an identity right now early in the season for the Jags. Well, if that's your identity, much like, say, the Chiefs are like that, the Seahawks are like that, well, it's their identity because they do it every week. Mm-hmm. So the Jaguars have a little pressure on them now offensively to do that every week, do it again. And now that people are talking about you, you got people's attention, you got a national audience, you're the favorite. Remember, they weren't a favorite going into the season in any game this year, not even this one against the Dolphins, not even next week against the Bengals. Well, now they flipped that script a little bit. They're the favorite. It'll be interesting to see how they handle a little bit of success on the offensive side of the ball. Not total success because they're 1-1. They're not 2-0.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the mentality of this young football team going into this game tomorrow. Are the lights too big? Is it a little bit too bright tomorrow night?
Listen, you faced some adversity against Tennessee. It was a game that you should have won. You know dang well right now you can compete with the Tennessee Titans. They just, they squeak through. It is what it is. How do you respond now to that adversity, right? And it's gonna test the demeanor and the mental makeup of this young team. Like you said, this is the first game they're favored in, right? We're talking Thursday Night Football right now, the showcase of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not sure what the rating is going to be, but one would think people are going to tune in to see Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew kind of made a name for himself last year in that Titans game. Thursday night, right? All of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, here's Uncle Rico now. Now Gardner Minshew's doing all this crazy stuff on TV. So, this is a big game from a lot of angles. It's a big game, obviously, to get back on the win streak. It's a big game from a publicity standpoint, I think, where the whole country's going to be watching just the city of Jacksonville and their football team. And it's a big game for Gardner Minshew because now can he cement himself off his first Thursday night performance?
Couple of responses. If you didn't know, Jags lead NFL on third down conversion, 62.5%. That's a nice mark. By the way, Gardner has a 75% completion rate this year. That is pretty darn good. And C. Sherbert says, Brandon Wright hit a 48-yard game winner last year in college. He also can punt. I did see that he can punt as well. They don't need that. Logan Cook will be the punter. But he's got a little bit of a leg then, 48-yarder for Georgia State.
We got Keaton Tucker chiming in saying, when is Visca throws a pass getting added to Visca bingo?
Yeah, we might have to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we do that instead of the pancake block. But which one's more likely? See, it's going to be hard to get the touchdown pass.
No, it's just throws a pass in general.
Oh, throws a pass at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
When is Visca throws a pass getting added to Visca bingo?
The committee will meet on that.
We'll meet on it, yeah. Don't rush us. There's a process in due time.
I have a strange question about weddings because who's getting married? You're going to a wedding.
I'm going to a wedding.
And somebody's going to jump in who's getting married next month.
Yeah.
But pandemic weddings, I've got a question before we get back into some football next on ESPN 690. Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. The Jags have 2 opt-outs. How big are these losses in your opinion?
Lorente McCray is different to me. This is a guy who's going on his 7th season here in the NFL. If you have the honor to wear the C in that locker room, it means that you're a leader. You have some sort of influence on that team.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app. Want a party? Here's an invitation. The team at CGC Water is throwing a party, and you're invited. 50 years ago, Connecticut innovated water treatment with their non-electric twin tank softeners, and they are celebrating with you. Come on out Saturday, September 26th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Celebrate with huge savings on salt and get 50% off Connecticut filters. There will be hourly drawings for great prizes, and there will be music out there as well. The team will be available to answer any questions, and they want to welcome you to the Connecticut family. Safety guidelines will be adhered to ensure all attendees enjoy the day in a safe, healthy environment. Visit 2181 St. John's Bluff Road South, right here in Jacksonville, Saturday, September 26th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and celebrate 50 years of providing customers with safe, clean, purified drinking water. If you are not filtering your water, you are the filter. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
It doesn't matter how old we are, we all need love and support. Yet, teenagers who end up in foster care have a much harder time finding it, as nearly 82% of current foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. The good news is, you can positively impact a teen's life by becoming a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You don't have to be married or own a home. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. So if you've ever felt a calling to help youth, please take this opportunity to explore becoming a foster parent to a teen through Family Support Services. Teenagers may no longer be little, but they still need lots of love. Take the next step by visiting foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. Would you believe you can own, not lease, a brand new Chevy with no money down for around $250 a month? You can. Gordon has rates as low as 0% for up to 84 months on the Chevy Trax. We have a boatload of Trax in inventory, and we're dealing payments as low as $250 a month plus tax and title. That's it for a brand new SUV. Every month we look for ways to save you money, and right now the deals rock. Come see us, Gordon Chevy, on the money-saving end of Blanding in Orange Park, or check us out at GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Hi. I think, sometimes you do things early on to protect yourself. It's unfortunate. You don't ever want to use that stuff, Mark, but here's the guy that we brought into camp. We really liked him. We wanted to spend some time with him, and then we had to make a move, to fill up a roster spot. And we wound up letting him go, knowing that, in the back of our minds, we were going to bring him back to basically thinking about the COVID situation. If something happened to one of our kickers, and unfortunately, Josh went on the IR, but I'd have a whole lot different type of anxiety if we just took someone off the street, and it hasn't been. But he's been here kicking. I've been watching him kick, so I got full confidence in him in any phase that we use him. That's the one thing great about the kid is he can do all three.
Well, I'm glad you don't have any anxiety, Doug Marrone, but the rest of Jacksonville does. Before that guy goes laces out and kicks a field goal between the pipes tomorrow night in front of a nationally televised audience. But it is good that they have a little knowledge of the player, what he can do.
Sure.
And that's, heck, might be a really talented guy. We just don't know him. Nobody knows him other than the Jags from what they saw the last month or so. A couple of things here. If you're just jumping in, Josh Lambo to IR with a left hip injury. Won't play tomorrow night, won't play for the next few games, has to sit for a few weeks now. DJ Chark, questionable. Keep an eye on that now. Chest and back injury. You got to wonder, was it from that big hit? Remember that big collision early in the game? But that was his head. But you can get some stuff out of whack. Yeah. That was a huge hit.
Yeah.
That was one of those things, because there's no fans, that you got to feel that hit from the couch.
That was a big one. You might want to get workers' comp on that hit right there, because that was a huge one.
But Tyler Davis is back practicing. I don't know what that will mean for tomorrow. We'll see the inactive list and everything that happens there. Brandon Linder out of this game. Tyler Shatley will take his place. Byron Jones is out for the Dolphins. That's the only guy that's listed as out tomorrow night, but that's a big one in the secondary, especially with an offense that is playing very well right now, because we'll see what happens with DJ Chark, but Byron Jones could easily have been on DJ Chark in this football game. So that's a matchup we might not even get.
Well, in terms of Byron Jones, it's probably definitely their best corner guy right now in terms of covers him, and they're already a very porous defense on the back end. So this could be a game where Gardner Minshew, obviously, and Jay Gruden, they feast on this.
Yeah, I just hope this isn't the correction game from Miami. One other note on football. How about NFL Research has this? You ready? 5 QBs age 25 or younger had a 100-plus passer rating, minimum 40 attempts over the first 2 games. Mm-hmm. Most in any season in the Super Bowl era. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Gardner Minshew,
nice,
Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes.
Kyler Murray wasn't on there.
I know what
huh?
you're asking.
Kyler Murray wasn't on there.
Where's Kyler Murray? He's running.
Yeah, he's running. Oh, he's running for what? Yeah, he's running for MVP. He's running for most valuable player of the league. Don't worry about him right now, Brent.
Hey, let's go to Orlando right now. Live Local Loud follows us at 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock just about every night. Sometimes we have to cut short a little bit for NBA. I think happens tonight at 8 o'clock. We might have Celtics and Heat coming up at 8 o'clock. His game, that's coming up tonight, right? Yeah. Yep. But anyway, you listen to Live Local Loud with Nikki Football and Jerry Daniels. And right now, Nikki Football joins us because it's not really about sports. This segment is more about getting married. Nikki is, did I see that right? That's happening soon? I'm not hearing him, Coos. So,
I can hear you.
It is, yeah. And what is it?
There we go.
3 weeks from Saturday. Yeah, October 17th, I'm getting married.
All right. We didn't have you at the early part of that, but we got you now. So congratulations, by the way, ahead of schedule. How is trying to get married in a pandemic? Because Coos is getting married in April.
Yeah.
Austin and I are already married, but Austin's going to a wedding this weekend, I think, up in Wisconsin. Is it Wisconsin?
It's the Twin Cities.
Oh, okay. Twin Cities. So how is planning a wedding in the pandemic?
There's a delay.
It's been pretty difficult. I mean, people have really kind of strayed away. I mean, we've had to really reduce our guest list, but we're going to have family and friends, and that's just about it that are going to be there.
All right. Looks like we've got you on a big-time delay, so be patient with us here with Nikki Football, Live Local Loud. So you're okay. I was trying to figure it out too. Austin, new to the business in the last 2 years, figured out the delay, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
But we got you loud and clear, like Live Local Loud coming up right after us on ESPN 690. Coos, how's planning the wedding going? Can you talk while Nikki's on the board there? I don't even know if we can do this.
We just had to drop $88 on postage stamps.
Oh,
how your
wedding? There's Facebook. You know that, right?
Oh, you have invitations on Facebook.
You still got to send a letter.
No, we didn't. No, we sent invitations.
See, that's the trouble right now, right? You want to just use technology, but you still have like old school methods
about those traditions,
to live up
Brent.
to, right?
Those traditions,
because of the traditions.
Yeah.
How about you? You're going to this. Did they have to cut down the wedding?
Oh yeah. So
and you made the cut.
So they cut it down from like $350. By the way, hey, that's an aggressive. That was an aggressive wedding party there.
That's a big one.
I think it's like down to like 100 now. So yeah, man, and it's like the Hunger Games, and like I made it out. You know, like I'm one of the select few. So obviously I had to go to this one. Twin Cities, beautiful time of season. Can't wait to check it out.
Well, yeah, and you know why they invited you?
Why's that?
Well, because they said this guy used to play in the NFL. That would be a big check.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be talking to, and I'm going by myself too, because my wife has to go to her school and stuff like that, and Roan's going to be at home, so it's going to be me talking to a bunch of strangers. Yeah, playing football was fun. Like, hey, you know what's fun? Talking sports with you every single day. You know what's not as fun? Talking like sports about the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings for 4 hours at a wedding while I'm consuming massive amounts of cocktails.
Yeah, I bet they're going to love me up in that area.
Yeah. You want to go with me? You want to be my plus one?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No. Kuz, by the way, says we're not on a delay anymore. Otherwise, I was going to ask Kuz to ask Nick the question now, and then I'll get to him in 10 seconds. But
it's like we're time traveling.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, have you had to cut down your wedding invitation list?
Yes, I have. We went from about 100 to 50 people.
All right. Well, that's reasonable.
I like his style. That's what I had too. 50 people, man.
You fit a nice small wedding, a smaller
wedding. Didn't have any catering, just a taco truck. It was the way to do it.
All right,
Nikki, I got a big question for you though, real quick.
Yeah.
So this wedding coming up, you know, there's a lot of murmurs, things like that. But can you give us the 411 on the vows? Are you going to write your own vows? Do you have them ready, or are you just going to go with a more traditional approach?
My arm has been twisted, and I'm writing my own vows. So we're writing our owns for this, I think.
Are we talking comedy? Are we talking drama? What are we talking here?
I'd be lying if I said I've started already. I've got 3 weeks from Saturday. We're gonna effort it. We're working on it. I only write a show every single day, but I can't seem to write this yet.
Yeah, this is like your Hall of Fame speech, Austin.
Yeah.
You put it on the back of your hand.
No, true. And I'm not gonna lie, for my wedding vows, I actually wrote my own wedding vows 20 minutes before the wedding.
Did you write it on your hand?
Yeah, for my Hall of Fame speech.
Which one? I thought you did it for your vows too.
No, it was my Hall of Fame speech. I wrote on my hand.
Okay,
yeah,
I thought so.
I wrote at the table when the coach was like presenting me, like talking about me. I wrote my speech down.
Okay, so Roger Hoover, I'm not sure you guys know who Roger Hoover is, but he was the play-by-play voice of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp and Sons prior to that. Well, he's moved on, and he got married over the weekend. And so I saw him tweet out today that he had a groom's cake, and he made it like he was a big Cubs fan, so he made it like the scoreboard at Wrigley.
Yeah.
And like the teams that were playing were teams that he's broadcast for and minor league, all this stuff. So it was kind of fun.
Cool.
But what caught my attention is, what the hell is a groom's cake? Is that a new thing? Like, do you have that, Nikki Football? Are you ready for that?
So, yeah, I do, actually. A friend of the family insisted that I have one, so he's having it made for us. Actually, no, it's Jerry Daniels. That's right. Jerry Daniels is having it made for me as a wedding gift. So, yes, and actually, it's going to be Wrigley Field, Austin. So I hope, as a fellow Cubs fan, it's going to be Wrigley Field.
Is it really? We have to start screening phone calls here. I didn't know he was a Cubs fan. See, I'm a diehard Brewers fan, so we're not going to get along anymore.
Well, if this was a real phone call, if it was really a phone call, we wouldn't have a delay for an hour.
That's a good point.
This is like he's on the moon right now.
Yeah, for sure. he's in the past.
Kuz, you ready for that? You got a groom's cake?
We just had to submit what cake we wanted to taste next week when we go up there, and there was I had never seen so many options for cake, and I responded. I said, I don't really like cake. And the response to that was, well, you have 200-some people coming to the wedding that do.
Yeah, good point. The wedding cake was pretty good. And I'm not a big cake guy either. But
what did you do for the wedding cake? Little ice cream cake from DQ? Is that what you did?
I was like 18 when I got married. I don't remember any of that
ice cream cake from DQ?
Yeah, pretty
much. Nothing wrong with that. You know what we did?
Blizzard.
You know what we did? Say it with me. Norwegian pie tray. We didn't have a cake. We had a Norwegian pie tray. An assortment of Norwegian pies.
Very good.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Really big hit.
My buddy always said he didn't really pull it off. He said he would do like chicken nuggets and mozzarella sticks at his wedding because that's what he really wanted.
We tried to ask if we could have a French fry station.
All right, Nikki Football, thanks for jumping on Live Local Loud coming up. How's the show going, man? We appreciate you being in Jacksonville.
It's going good. We're really enjoying it. Loving getting to know the Jacksonville community a little bit more. So it's been fun.
All right. Well, good luck with the wedding plans. I hope everything's good by now, and I hope everything goes well. We'll probably talk to you before then.
Sounds good, guys. You take it easy.
All right. That's Nikki Football along with Jerry Daniels, Live Local Loud on ESPN 690. A lot of wedding stuff going on.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
it's wedding season. It's always wedding season.
It always is. You got one coming up this weekend.
I do.
Kuz is going to taste cake next weekend. Nikki Football's getting married next month.
Yep.
Kuz gets married in April. I just say this. No, I'm already married.
I know that.
Not getting married again yet.
I figured that.
And don't invite me to your weddings.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
You don't want to go. Gifts and all that stuff. It's just
I hope I don't make the list. I'm the COVID cut list.
Coach wants to see you, and I want to bring my playbook. Cut me. I don't want to make
Listen, I'll even send you the gift.
Yeah.
But don't waste the money on my plate.
Sure. Well, what was a taco truck like I had? You would have loved that.
That would have been good.
You should have came and calling a couple years ago, Brent. You would have been in the first round of invites.
You know what the worst thing is when you would go to like weddings at golf courses, and I'm like, I would so much rather be playing 18 right now than be right here.
Sitting through the ceremony, sweating. Yeah, get me outdoors.
Right?
Let's
We're
go.
getting married
You're
on
getting
a
married
golf
at a golf course.
Yeah.
I better play in the morning then. Like I said, we just bring our show there.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we're invited. We just kind of invited ourselves.
I don't care, man. It's just the commentary from that wedding.
Well,
Let's
we
go.
won't have a show if we don't hit the top of the hour, so we got to go. We'll be back. More football talk after this on ESPN 690. No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still, because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven. It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Is your business losing sales from the current pandemic? Are you trying to remain in touch with important clients? If you're struggling with questions like this, you're not alone. Many small businesses are currently in a severe crisis and need immediate assistance. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE offers webinars on a variety of topics that can help you manage through this crisis. Click on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. Don't miss the hottest deal of the year. For September, we're going back in time to 16 years ago. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $99. Give us a call at Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Spay or neuter your pet. Help them live a longer, happy life. First Coast No More Homeless Pets has free and low-cost programs available now. Make your appointment today. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
San Francisco, by the way, they certainly remind you a little bit potentially of the 18 Jaguars, just crushed with injuries the Jags did in 2018. You know, people don't remember that. People are like, well, Blake Bortles and they stunk and all that. But they got decimated by it. I mean, they really got unlucky with injuries.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com. Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. Pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jacks.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Mixing in a little wedding talk here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I wouldn't even recognize how to put a wedding together right at 20 years later.
I'll tell you what, I've done maybe 2% of the work.
Yeah, well, I didn't do even that when I got married. So
I've noticed
hats off to
that,
Steph and her mom.
We've gotten to the point in the planning process that if I say I don't care, do what you want, I get in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm no longer allowed to use that excuse.
I just wonder about what Austin said. How much of the old traditions still take place? Like it almost was like when you do some of the traditional stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't really care about that, but everybody else involved kind of cares about that. So yeah, let's do it. Let's make everybody happy. But I don't know if that still happens.
Well, it's to me like the same thing with the cake. Like we don't want a cake. We don't care about having a cake or doing the whole cutting the cake and photos and stuff like that. But from everyone we're talking to, they're like, there's going to be people expecting there to be a cake.
Yeah, that's what you hear a lot too, right? That people go and they expect a certain thing at the wedding, which is pretty wild. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Wednesday, the eve of a football game in Jacksonville. Thursday night football will be on Fox 30, by the way, and it is the Miami Dolphins against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars without Josh Lambo. He goes on IR with a hip injury. Jaguars will also be without Brandon Linder. Tyler Shatley will take his place. And the Jaguars could be without, now that's a big one now, they could be without DJ Chark. He's questionable. Meanwhile, Byron Jones is out for the Miami Dolphins in their secondary. So this really looks like an offense that I don't want to go crazy and say high-powered, but an offense that is clicking for the Jacksonville Jaguars against a defense that really hasn't in the Miami Dolphins, even though I feel like they thought that might be the strength of their football team, considering Brian Flores is a defensive guy, and it just hasn't worked yet. So does this become a trendy game where the offense continues to do that and it'll be up to the Jags defense and special teams to make enough plays to win? Or does the script get flipped, which we've seen so many times in the NFL? It will be a tough one to predict. Later on, we'll have the wall that says it all. Austin will take us back to a play last week from the defense that just can't happen, in my opinion. I want to get Austin's thought on it as well and see if it's something that can be preventable. We'll talk about that play coming up at 5 o'clock. A little bit more on the Jaguars right now. We mentioned this in just a little bit yesterday about guys like Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue. And how do the Jags fix their defense? Like, is it just growth that happens? Is it some schematical changes? Should the Jaguars have tried to get Jamal Adams? Would that have made a substantial difference on their defense? You know, they had plenty of money at that point. Mm-hmm. Should they have tried to send a pick to the Jets and also pay Jamal Adams? Were they a little afraid of that maybe because of the circumstances, and they were trying to get rid of some bad apples, if you will, here in Jacksonville? Sure. And I don't, who knows what Jamal Adams like, but they liked Adams coming out. Yeah. They liked Adams coming out of LSU when they picked Leonard Fournette. No doubt about that. And I think he went right after Leonard Fournette in that draft, or maybe it was number 6 to the Jets. Should the Jaguars have made another move that they didn't make? The one we brought up yesterday was Calais. Maybe you shouldn't have traded him, right? That was a move shouldn't have done. They could be a little bit better, or maybe even a lot better, and he would have fit perfectly given the locker room and everything we're hearing about this locker room and this football team. So if they could have that one back, I think they'd say, yeah, you can have the 5th-round pick back. We'll keep Calais with the $15 million. Yeah. But another move I thought about was Jamal Adams to strengthen that defense. Should they have done it?
Listen, hindsight's always 20/20, right? And I remember when I was campaigning to bring Jamal Adams to Jacksonville, it was from the prerequisite saying that, you know what, they have to stop the run in this division. They got to stop Marlon Mack. They got to stop Jonathan Taylor. They got to stop Derrick Henry. And Jamal Adams does a fantastic job of doing that. Now, Jamal Adams is a safety, but he does everything. He's a box safety. He's a cover safety. He can rush the passer. The guy can do everything. So I thought the biggest part that you needed on this defense was obviously attitude and the ability to stop the run. Now, only after 2 games, we've seen what? They've been able to stop the run. The question remains, though, is that attitude there, right? Like, I think, obviously, you have Josh Allen. You have Miles Jack, who's playing at a pretty high level right now. You have Joe Schobert. But, like, do you have anybody, and it's hard to see after 2 games, but do you have anybody on that team that when the chips are stacked against you, you get in that huddle, and that guy amps everybody up with like, a big hit or a big play? Through 2 games, Brent, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we saw the Avery Jones, 4th and 1 stop. That was huge. But consistently, I haven't seen anybody do that quite yet. Now, once again, it's still a very young season. We'll see if someone steps up to the plate. With that being said, though, if you watch Jamal Adams and his time in Seattle, what he's brought to that table, yes, the Seattle defense, a little porous. They get up a lot of points. But you see the attitude. You see him making plays. Like, it's undeniable that guy can make some plays. It begs the question, though, so the Jaguars gone after him. They could have, right? And you could spend, how much however money you want and make him the highest paid safety, which I think he obviously deserves that. But at the same time, we got to remember where we were a couple months ago. We didn't have any hope in this team, right? Especially this defense. And for Jamal Adams to go from the New York Jets to the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have to think about his mindset and where he would be, right? Because I think he wanted to go to winner. I think he wanted to compete for a Super Bowl. And I think at that time it was like, well, if he comes to Jacksonville, is his attitude going to change at all, right? Because obviously he wanted out of New York. So once again, hindsight's 20/20. I would have loved to see him in Jacksonville. I think he brings just a whole set of just intangibles that a lot of guys don't have, and obviously the leadership as well. So I would have loved to see him here. But you have to ask the question: would it have worked as well in Seattle?
Yeah, and I think the other question I would ask is he looks like he's playing good football right now for them, and they're still giving up 30 points a game and 1,000 yards in the first 2 games. Sure. So can a strong safety make that much of a difference? The answer right now in Seattle is no.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, a strong safety with a good defensive line, now you have something.
Well, exactly. But that's not necessarily the case here.
Sure.
Right? You're asking, basically what we're asking is like, what position, what guy will really elevate this defense? What's the fix on this defense? Like, I mean, it's safe to ask a couple other questions. Marcel Darius is still out there somewhere. I have no idea where he likes to travel. Maybe he's like in Tasmania, maybe he's working on another vehicle. Brink's truck.
Tasmania?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he likes
You
to travel.
in Tasmania, by the way? There's like 300 beached whales there.
Is there?
Is that why you brought it up?
Well, I brought up Tasmania really because yesterday I played, they reopened the Ponte Vedra Inning Club Ocean Course, and so we played it as they reopened it, and they brought us out.
Okay.
And it's really cool, by the way. You should check it out if you're over there. They changed some of the course around. Well, I was talking to some folks who have been to like all over playing golf, and they brought up Tasmania. They said there's some unbelievable golf courses, which I'd never even thought of that.
Okay.
Or like, how do you even get there? And so now Tasmania is on my mind. So that was a
I
quick
got you.
go-to.
I got you. Cool.
Because I looked up the golf courses and I want to go.
I got you. Yeah, there's a beached whale problem there right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
That's all
but
good.
I'm learning about Tasmania in the last 2 days an awful lot.
No worries.
But I do know that Marcel Darius likes to travel.
Yeah.
So maybe he is there.
Sure.
And he's available, though, because he's not with a team.
Correct.
If he wants to be, which is kind of strange. I mean, is it all the injury? Is it he doesn't want to play? Does he want to latch on to a team later on? Does he want too much money to play? We know he liked Jacksonville and Doug Marrone, and there's not a problem there. So it's a bit peculiar, and maybe they've had some conversations. Don't know that. But Marcel Darius is an interesting ask. The other one that's interesting, did you see the stuff out of the West Coast where Desmond King was not too happy with his playing time?
Saw that.
In L.A.
Yeah.
Now, listen, you're usually not playing for a reason. Not sure what that reason is, but it seems like he's unhappy. Could there potentially be a move that you make to bring a guy like that on board? But aren't you already happy with C.J. Henderson and Trey Herndon the way they're playing?
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think right now with Desmond King, he's probably in the trading block for sure. He's obviously ticked off unless Anthony Lynn can kind of patch that up a little bit. But, yeah, I think you have C.J. Henderson, Trey Herndon. Like, the last thing you need right now, I think, is more cornerbacks, right? I think you're kind of you're pot committed from that position.
Well, the only thing is, do you realize, much like this football team realized, I think, halfway through with Barry Church that next year, that he was kind of done, right? He had lost a step. I think it's a little too early to ask that question of a DJ Hayden, but if you did bring over a Desmond King or something, you could move Trey Herndon inside.
Yeah.
You could do that. You know, if I'm just saying, if you want to get better at your defense, is that an opportunity to get better? If you were interested, there are pieces you could move around potentially. We just don't know how they're feeling about it. To my eyes, Hayden hasn't played very well. I'm not saying I'm giving up on him. I've seen him play too much good football.
Exactly.
But they would know more of that than we would know about losing a step or just doesn't have it right now or what.
But that's the point, though, right? Where we sit here and say, well, this pass rush isn't going yet. Let's see what happens against Miami. Let's give them a little more time. It's only 2 games. So we're going to sit back and set it and forget it and see what happens. Well, the same thing's got to be said about DJ Hayden because, like you just said, he's played too much great football to sit back and say, well, all right, this guy's washed. Let's go get somebody else in. Like, I don't think so right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, the King one's an interesting one, and anytime a big name comes available and you're like, oh, okay, maybe that makes some sense. Jags have plenty of capital and plenty of money. So Jags are, definitely a player in anybody that could be available, trade deadline or not. So it's an interesting ask. I would kind of lean with you. I don't really think they have to fix their corner position as much as they have to fix maybe their back end, free safety spot, hopefully get Jared Wilson healthy, and also that front. They need to get more out of the front. We'll see. I think in the next couple of games they'll have an opportunity to do so. If we're still talking about this in a couple of weeks, the Jaguars might need to, depending on how they feel about their football team, they might need to take that October trade deadline very seriously to go try to acquire somebody else for a little help. Because if you're 4 or 5 games in, it's still not working. And you're in the middle of things, and you're winning football games because your offense is outscoring them, might be an interesting move. And the Jags have made those kind of moves in season in the past. Marcel Darius himself was one back in 2017. Quick thought on Tyrod Taylor, man. How about that? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of it, by the way, the story is the team doctor punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
So he had, is it bruised ribs or broken ribs? Tyrod Taylor.
I think he had bruised ribs.
Bruised ribs. Going to get an injection on those bruised ribs.
Yes.
So before the game, they call it riding the T train. You take a shot of Toradol.
So it's a painkiller.
Usually you get that injected into your behind, let's just call it.
He had cracked ribs, by the way, so I guess that would be broken.
So cracked ribs, all right? So I assume he was riding what we like to call the T train. And the T train, usually you take that in.
Do you still take that in the NFL?
I don't know. I took it. It was like a cocktail for me. It was like a pregame ritual for me.
There's one that went away.
That might have been Toradol. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a pain injection.
We got you.
Okay, yeah, you got it. So inject him into to help those broken ribs, which I can't imagine playing football with broken ribs. Ugh. Anyways, inject it with those broken ribs. Well, apparently the doctor, for whatever reason, felt the need to puncture his lung as well, and that's why he sat out again.
You make it sound like you did it on purpose.
Well, how do you? Okay, well, let's get into it. How do you mess that up?
It wasn't like the Chiefs doctor did it.
How do you puncture somebody's lung? How deep was this needle?
I'm not a doctor. I mean, it has to be reasonably close.
Well,
I would think.
Were you giving him an adrenaline shot straight out of Pulp Fiction where you had to hit the Sharpie on the chest and then break the breastplate? No, man. Like, how deep are we going with this needle? How do you puncture somebody's lung? I hope that guy got fired. Hey, coach. Hey, doctor. Coach wants to see you. Go ahead and bring your playbook. Can you imagine Hard Knocks? Oh, what if this happened during Hard Knocks? Oh,
don't they do like
doctor?
inside the NFL? They still do that show? Like
I think so.
Maybe
Yeah,
on the Chiefs and Chargers game. They probably had a lot of cameras. It was the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
So
and poor Lamar Jackson. You see him on the sidelines during that game. So on the sidelines, they're talking about how I don't know Lamar Jackson, Tyrod Taylor. Poor Tyrod Taylor sitting on the sidelines. They're like, I guess Tyrod Taylor's not going to play today. He's got some kind of chest injury that he acquired during warmups, and he's sitting on the bench like hunched over like this and like looking like he's going to throw up. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like that's kind of an excuse to play Justin Herbert. We knew that was going to come eventually. Turns out he had a punctured lung on the sidelines, just hanging out.
A lot of people thought they had kept it under wraps. They were going to play Herbert. That was not the case. They had just moments before the game decided he couldn't go.
Yeah.
And thankfully they decided that he couldn't go.
Yeah.
But that's why they decided he couldn't go.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is, does the Toradol or whatever painkiller still work? And that way it doesn't hurt as much when you have a punctured lung. I mean, I hope it worked for the ribs and the lung.
Yeah. Do you think this doctor had Justin Herbert on his fantasy team?
This, by the way,
you should not be laughing at this.
No.
As somebody's fiance that's watching every episode of Grey's Anatomy again, this would make for a great episode.
That's a shame.
Is Grey's Anatomy, I saw it was on Netflix again. Is that why? Has it resurfaced?
Yeah.
Because I saw it as I was looking up.
You sound super psyched about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy, that's like a decade old, isn't it?
Fun fact.
That was back in college
We're
for me.
on season 16, and I still think there's like 5 more.
I think I've told this story before. When I used to coach girls flag football back in college, whenever they talked about Grey's Anatomy, they had to take a mandatory lap because I wasn't going to tolerate Grey's Anatomy talk. Because that's all they talked about. Like, we're going to miss Grey's Anatomy if we keep on practicing. I don't care. Yes. Take a lap and get back to me.
Some people call it like the best show ever, or one of the best shows ever. I never saw an episode of it.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, it's, girls going through her feelings. Is she in love? This guy's got like a chopped off leg. Let's put that back on. Oh, now she's like got feelings for this guy.
It wasn't like in an attempt at, what was the show used to be on Thursday nights on NBC? ER.
Oh.
ER was a big show.
Yeah.
That might have been right before your like high school days.
Sure
so you were a little younger. But ER
moms and
was
dads watched when I was a kid. Yeah.
ER was like must see TV, NBC TV, whatever it was.
Sure.
I think they might even had like Seinfeld on that night,
big Seinfeld
but
guy,
they had a lineup that like it was huge in the ratings,
just blowing the doors off everybody.
And ER was on that list.
Okay,
and so I felt like Grey's Anatomy was like this attempt to kind of get ER.
Gotcha, bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of the next wave. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
So, Anyway, back to Anthony Lynn. Speaking of real life, ER. How about this quote? Taylor's injury. Well, this isn't a quote. Taylor's injury is not career threatening. He said the doctor, quote, just made a mistake. Anthony Lynn said. He said it happens.
When?
Lynn told Smith.
When?
Tyrod's not angry, not upset. Does it happen?
I'm suing. I'm suing you.
Like, does that happen though?
When have you
Can
ever
we get
heard
a doctor? Have you ever given a painkiller and punctured a lung?
When
does
have
that
you
really
ever heard
happen?
of somebody getting their lung punctured from a needle from a doctor? And go. Never heard it. So it doesn't happen all the time. So Anthony Lynn, I don't know if this was some kind of setup from your part too, where you want to get Justin Herbert in so bad, but no, that's not a standard thing. I don't know what's going on right now in LA.
To me, I'm sure there's really bizarre injuries, right? If you go all the way back to Jacksonville's own Vince Coleman, and I think it was World Series or playoff time back in '85, it was the tarp. Got rolled up. He got his leg caught in the tarp.
Yeah.
And so, there's been some bizarre injuries. This is on the short list.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like this.
No.
And I'm sure it's happened. I was actually surprised it got out.
I know.
Weren't you a little surprised to hear? That was my first reaction, was that Adam Schefter's tweeting this, and that's what, they actually give credit to Anthony Lynn that he's transparent like that. But usually anything medical doesn't come out. And on top of that, he's actually sharing details of how this all went on. That isn't like a HIPAA thing or anything like that.
What would you do if you were one of his teammates sitting there about to get an injection and you see that?
Well, here's what I would do. It's like the guy that's next to you just got hit by lightning. Hey, what's the chance of it happening again? Better you than me.
Poor Tyrod Taylor, though, man. Guys want to play some football. You don't have to puncture his lung.
Well, you know how I feel about this in terms of the football team. I think they were making a mistake potentially going back to Tyrod Taylor anyway. I think Herbert proved a little something there. Now, he's going to take his lumps as well. But this might be a blessing for Anthony Lynn. He was going to go back to Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that was the right move for this football team. And so, and again, we're not there in L.A. covering them day to day. It just doesn't feel from the outside like that's a great move.
Sure.
And this might really turn out to be like a blessing in disguise in a way for their football team. Obviously not for Tyrod Taylor, but they might. He's forced to play Herbert, and it didn't look like he was going to play Herbert. Well, what if Herbert now comes in and does a really good job over these next 2-3 games, however long it's going to take for Tyrod Taylor to come back? Well, Tyrod Taylor ain't coming back in there.
Yeah. I just go back to this thing, Brent. If you're Anthony Lynn, you have to fire that doctor, right? You can't keep him around. Honestly, I'm not even trying to be funny. You can't keep that guy around.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard. I don't know much about the doc.
If I go to a barber shop, guess what? And you nick my ear and I start bleeding from, you trying to taper me up a little bit. I'm not going back to that barber shop. Sorry. You lost you lost my business. If somebody punctures one of your players' lungs, I can't come back to you.
Tony Polster says, how does he have cracked ribs and taken off the injury report on Friday? That's a good question, too.
Because the guy's a football player, Brent. That's why.
Well, a lot of guys will play with the I don't know about the injury report part. Tony's got to go, but the flak jacket.
Yeah,
right?
the flak jacket's bulletproof, basically.
Way, I'm touching my ribs right now, or close to them, and they hurt because I worked out for the first time in 3 weeks on
There's
Monday.
A flex. There we go.
They still hurt.
There's a flex.
Okay,
all
so
that
will
weight
show you how tough I am.
All that weight
to be able to play football.
Are you good? You need an injection? We can get you one.
Not from that doctor.
I'm sure we can call somebody around here. I'll get you set up.
Man, that is so wild. I just couldn't believe that's what happened to the Chargers. We'll see.
I'm gonna never get acupuncture again now. So I'm a big acupuncture guy. Hearing that, maybe not.
Let's shift gears to college football. Did you see this? This is a tweet that I kind of quote tweeted, and I got some instant reaction to. It's interesting. Ohio State, I think, laid off or furloughed or whatever 25 more employees today based on the projections of losing over $100 million from their budget this year. And my tweet was, don't these folks have emergency funds? And I thought one person had they were being kind of a smart aleck about it, but I thought they had a good point. They're like, oh yeah, well, they were prepared for the pandemic. Yep. That's not my point. The model is so screwed up in football and college sports right now anyway, that you would think that some of the foresight is to have some money in the bank for a rainy day. And it just doesn't feel like, based on the moves that are being made this year, that these programs have had money in the bank. I mean, if you're making $100 million a year because of your football program, yeah, I get it. You got to pay for other sports. You can still pocket away like 5% of that, couldn't you? And when you pocket 5% away and you put it somewhere, maybe you put it in a bond or something like that. Well, it grows at 5%. And you add that up over the last however many years, and now the money hasn't always been like this in college football, but even the last 15, 20 years, it just feels to me that someone with forward thinking in the college athletic world should have a ton of money in their bank account.
Yeah. No.
Is that far? Am I missing something? I understand it. I don't get the whole finances. I'm sure I'm missing a lot. I don't think you have to use the money that you make in a certain time. This isn't a salary cap. Like you could use, but instead we're building buildings and buildings on top of buildings on top of buildings with PS4s. No, PS5s. We got to update that. Xboxes, leather couches, saunas.
Let's get it.
Whatever it takes, right? To get whatever it is.
Yep.
But we're building these buildings instead, and now people are losing jobs. Now you might have a lot of fat to trim on your staffs. That's certainly a possibility. Maybe you hired so many people because you had these dollars.
Correct.
Fair enough. I don't know the business model.
Yeah.
But it just seems at face value like, oh, you make $100 million a year. Okay, you're not going to make that. We don't have anything left over. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best look. Obviously, we don't know where all this money's going to, right? I'm not an accountant, but I'll tell you what, man, this was a good pitch for Martineau and Sons investment opportunities for you, man. Because, you make some pretty good points. You put some off to the side, you invest it, that grows, and then that can be like the salary of some of these employees. It was 250 people got let go?
I thought it was 25.
I'm sorry, 25.
But it's the latest one. I think maybe they had to already lay off some people.
So were these people in one department, all the departments? Because you know how that works with the departments and stuff like that. Like every department kind of gets their own funding and all that stuff. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, I just think the whole point is, forget about how many people we're talking about Ohio State, Ohio State, who rolls in the dough when it comes to college football, when it rolls in the dough probably when it comes to college basketball, and certainly has other bills to pay along the way. It's an expensive thing, you got to spend it to make it, no doubt. But when you're talking about these kind of dollars, my guess is they let go 25 people that might combined make, I don't even know. Let's just say say they all make $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? $2.5 million?
Yep.
They can't cover $2.5 million?
But let's be honest though, Brent. Like the same thing's happening with sports, right? Like their sports are getting shut down, right? Like Minnesota's shutting down the men's track team right now. How much does it cost to run a men's track team every single year? I mean, it can't be over $1 million for travel and stuff like that. And I'm sure they bring a little money, but still, for whatever reason, they're cutting back costs. They have to cancel the track team. We're seeing every single university cancel their sporting programs because for whatever reason, there's not enough money to facilitate.
Okay, so here it is. Brett McMurphy says, Ohio State announces it's eliminating 25 full-time athletic department positions, and 300-plus staff members will either take furloughs or pay cuts to help offset projected $107 million budget deficit.
Yeah.
Okay? And again, budgets are done in advance. My point being, why can't you keep $10 million for a rainy day when you do that budget? I mean, do you need to use all that expense? Now, I'm not this naive, okay? I also understand that this is opportunity. We talked about this at the beginning of COVID. This is opportunity to get rid of some of those programs. I don't want wrestling around anymore. It doesn't make us any money. It just costs us money. Well, this is a great opportunity to say, see you later, right? Tennis team. Whatever team, it is. This has been an opportunity for a lot of schools to say, baseball team, nope, we're going to cut down. And we've seen it across the country in those sports. And now this might be a trimming of fat in athletic departments as well and say, listen, technology the way it is, do we really need this? We just saw over the last 6 months, we operated pretty well on Zoom and all this stuff. Do we need these kind of bodies around? That's business. That happened probably in our business. That happens in your business that you work in and you're listening. And that's the business model of this. I just have a hard time. Every time one of these things are done, they're taking a huge hit because they've made so much money over the last 10, 15, 20, more than that, years. It just falls on deaf ears for me. It's like, I get it's not what you were making, but now everybody's got to, because you spent kind of haphazardly, now people are losing their jobs. That doesn't seem to sit well.
No, listen, I get what you're saying. And university making all this money, you think there would be a little left to spread out and everything like that. If you have to take a pay cut, so be it. But you think people could still keep their jobs. But at the same time, and this isn't just happening in universities, it's happening everywhere, right? Like people, due to this pandemic, due to, just the efficiency that those businesses are running, they're cutting employees. It's not just colleges, it's everywhere. So I guess colleges are just kind of falling in line with the everyday life of a blue-collar worker, and it is what it is.
The method to my madness on this topic continues to be, if we go back to the early stages of the pandemic, the model in college sports has to change. The model in finances in college athletics, in football especially, has to change. You can't do this all there was a tipping point at some point. You know, whether it's coaches' salaries, expensive buildings, there's a tipping point. I understand it. College football brings it in. Well, then you got to come up with a different way. You can't, not everything can cling to this. You know, if they don't have a college football season, this is why they're trying to have one. Well, then, oh my gosh, doomsday. If we don't have another March Madness, NCAA, doomsday. Like, is that the model we should be living by in college athletics? Has it gotten way too out of control? I think it's a fair question. Now, I hate asking these kind of questions and not having great solutions. I don't.
I already told you my solution.
I'm not smart enough for it.
Listen, I told you my solution way back in the day, where if you want to build up these football programs, you want to add all these crazy locker room gadgets and these new stadiums, these new workout facilities, then every single dollar that you spend is going to be taxed. And that tax money goes to the university and other programs. Simple as that. If you want to be like the Alabamas and the Floridas and build these, these $1 million, $2 million workout facilities, that's great. But guess what? You're getting taxed off it, and that money's going back to the university.
Yeah, you did say that. And by the way, I wish they were only $1 million or $2 million.
I know, well, however much it is.
Feel like $35 million.
I'm so naive to that, man. Yeah.
I know. It's just I think it's just a bad look. It doesn't sit well. We didn't make $100 million this year, so we got to fire people.
Yeah.
Great. Speaking of college football, are they in a little trouble as we begin SEC week? Talk a little bit more about that because a lot of COVID pop in terms of the test numbers and cancellations. Does that concern you? It's not too many yet, but is it starting to concern you a little bit? We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get back to the NFL as well here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and pleasantly warm today. Highs in the low 80s, dropping into the 60s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Hurry! It's the last time you'll get 5 years, 0 interest this year.
Hey, boss, don't you just love this time of year?
No.
Come on, the weather's changing, football season's here.
I don't like anything in 2020, okay?
Fair enough. But Halloween will be here before you know it.
True. That's always a good night for us crooks. Nobody gives a second look to our disguises.
Yup. All we gotta do is make sure we pick houses without Safe Touch security and we're golden.
Just mentioning Safe Touch security puts me in a foul mood.
I know. All those houses off limits to us crooks because of Safe Touch.
Yeah, they got their 45-second response time, the two-way communicator.
No freedom-loving crook messes with a Safe Touch house.
Exactly. It's why we stick to the Crooks Are Us motto, stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Hey, now there's one thing that's not upside down this year.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number LVA 4188.
It's always smart to shop at Diamonds Direct, but right now it's smarter than ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing and no money down on any purchase. No kidding, it's the best offer ever. Keep your money and finance the entire purchase, even the tax, for 5 years without paying a dime in interest. Get a $10,000 certified diamond for only $168 a month. I'm telling you, this makes fine jewelry more affordable than ever. It's definitely the smart way to buy. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com.
Open this Sunday. Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony.
Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription?
Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor first to see if it's a qualifying condition and if medical marijuana is even right for you.
I will, thanks.
At 1-to-1 Financial, we're proud to support dozens of the best breweries and restaurants in Jacksonville. And as the hometown credit union, we have one thing to ask. Please invest in Jacksonville. Now more than ever. Go on out and enjoy some great local food and beer. We'll make it easy. Head over to Kingmaker Brewing in Riverside on September 25th to the 27th and October 2nd to the 4th for socially distanced Oktoberfest. The beer is awesome, and it's just $12 to get in. Google Kingmaker Brewing or check 1to1fcu.org for details. Man, that Gardner Minshew can throw over mountains, can he?
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Are you ready for a new ride? Then your wait is over. It's the Today's the Day sales event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Today's the day for you to drive away from Arlington one really happy customer in your brand new Toyota. That's because you'll get 0% for 60 months on all new 2020 Camrys, Corollas, and RAV4s. 0%. How about getting a new Toyota Plus, no payments for 90 days? Today's the day because that's exactly what you'll get at Arlington. And did I mention 2 years of free maintenance? Yes. Today's the day you get your new Toyota at Arlington plus 2 years of free maintenance. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Today is most definitely the day to get the Toyota you really want at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. Today is the day for full details.
This message is brought to you by Community First Credit Union.
Here's an idea. Let's make some plans. Plans to do all the things we've been wanting to do. And let's put those plans on solid financial ground. So if you have questions about your family or business finances, we have answers. Answers that can work for you and everyone in Jacksonville.
To get started, text ANSWERS to 797979 or visit communityfirstfl.org to schedule an appointment. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Everybody's taking advantage of Diamonds Direct's 5-year zero-interest financing offer. In fact, our store hours have been extended to include this Sunday to accommodate the demand. But hurry, this offer ends September 30th. Pick any item, get the Diamonds Direct amazing value price, make no down payment, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Whether your purchase is $3,000 or $30,000, you can do this. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit. And remember, we'll be open this Sunday afternoon for your convenience. Get details and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs. Make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The facial hair gauntlet has been thrown down as this Thursday, it's Fitzmagic versus Minshew Mania. And Ryan Fitzpatrick launched the opening salvo saying this about mustaches.
I think guys that grow mustaches a lot of times have patchy
sides for their beards, so they just stick with the mustache.
And then Jags quarterback Gardner Minshew responded in kind with this.
Yeah, I think I've shown I can grow a beard with no patchy sides. But I'm gonna have respect for my elders. Especially when they're much, much older.
It'll all be settled tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football when the Jags face the Dolphins. And elsewhere in the NFL, the BOAT, Blake Bortles, was just signed to a one-year contract in Denver to help ease their injury-plagued quarterback room. You're working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Keep climbing.
It's intercepted. Picked off of the 12. He will go down. He finds the promised land. Touchdown FSU.
This is your home for FSU football.
15 to the 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown to Mario Terry. He is scary. Intercepted. Picked off of the 33-yard line. Noles win. Noles win.
Catch live coverage of the Seminoles all season long. Right here on your home for Florida State football.
Right here on ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio and the Florida State Seminoles. Brent Martineau.
This is an email. Why is WWE Wrestling not being shown on Friday night?
Austin Lane.
Thank you very much. Read it right now. This could be
just
for me.
did. Why is WWE? That's it. That's why I thought. I don't know. Ronan's only 5. I don't know how many sentences he can make. Smart kid.
Somebody might have proofread it for him.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
COVID had just hit, so I was really on my, I think I might have been in Hawaii or Australia, one of the two, because I was either making my way, but anyway, that's besides the point. They told me pretty much that they were going to make the switch, and I was cool with it completely. I understood, like, their mind frame and everything, and, like, obviously, like, last year, it is what it is. I felt like it was due to my injury, but at the end of the day, it's a performance-based job, and, like, I feel like I completely, like, bed last year.
Hey, I'm telling you, I think you like this football team because of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, how about
bleeping?
Welcome back to the podium, Miles Jack.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we heard from
Mr. Miles Jack. Right this way. Your table is ready. Great to have you back here, sir.
Yeah, man, I like Miles. And Miles is, again, I've been waiting for Miles to break out. I think, you look at some of the way they've used these guys over the years, whether it's Taven Bryan trying to play the big end, whether it's Marquise Lee blocking instead of running routes and using his speed, whether it's Miles Jack, strong side, middle.
Yep.
It's been failed experiments.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of this is on them for not putting guys in position to be really good. But Miles Jack seems like he's in a good place, got that contract last year, has a chip to try to prove that he should be making that kind of money. This maybe is it. This is maybe his breakout, blossoming season that I've been waiting for a couple of years now. I didn't give up on him. When we did the breakout player, I said, I'm going to go one more time.
Yeah.
One more time around the calendar with Miles Jack. And right now it's happening. But to be honest with you, this is my third time saying it. I thought coming off that 17-year, that postseason, I was like, look out now.
Yeah.
He's going to be a star in the NFL. Then last year, okay, this is the year.
Yeah.
That just hasn't materialized. Well, right now, Joe Schobert, Miles Jack playing pretty good at that linebacker spot, and Miles playing exceptionally well. He talked to the media today. He owned up to last year, not being great. And I think it's refreshing. It's refreshing to hear a guy say that. What have we said? We've had these conversations. I think I took a lot of heat when I said, can't we show some accountability as a player when you leave here and you weren't able to get the job done, right? Instead of bashing like Ronnie Harrison. Yeah. It wasn't your fault. No, not my fault, not my job kind of mentality. Well, here you got Miles Jack saying, you know what, a little bit was my bad. And we know, and we've got Miles back to say a lot of it was their bad. But he's saying it was a little bit my bad, and here I am. I'm ready to go now, and I feel good about it. So that makes me feel good for Miles Jack and this football team because he should be one of the prominent players on this team.
Yeah, and listen, and it's nothing new that we haven't said before on this show, Brent. For the past year and a half now, like, he shouldn't have been playing middle linebacker. It's as simple as that. And then like you have to respect the guy in Miles Jack who said, no, I'm a middle linebacker. Like, Puz is gone now. He kind of groomed me for this position. I'm a middle linebacker. And you know what? I respect that. If you're going to go down, you go down swinging, right? And Miles Jack went down swinging. Figuratively, and maybe I guess he did get thrown out of the Kansas City Chiefs game last year as well. So say what you want to say about that. But no, I'm just joking around. But it's refreshing to hear now that he's confident. It's refreshing to hear that he's kind of got a swag back a little bit. And that swag is coming from playing that weak side linebacker spot, which we've hinted at many times and over again. And I've always said this, Brent, show me your best athlete playing middle linebacker, and I'll show you a middle linebacker that's playing out of position. As simple as that. And I'm glad to see him play on the weak side where he can run around, fly around, pin his ears back, and be an athlete.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because the defense isn't playing that well, but he might be playing better than anybody on the football team. Mm-hmm. Listen, James Robinson is playing well.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew's playing well. The receiving core, I don't know if I can. I'd say Keelan Cole, right? Yeah. If I could pick one guy playing really well. And probably the offensive line. Listen, I haven't heard Cam Robinson's name mentioned once in 2 games. Yeah. Must be playing pretty well. Yeah. So there's guys. Obviously, the offense is playing well. My point is, outside of one missed tackle early in that first game, this guy's playing lights out. Mm-hmm. You can make the case that Miles Jack is playing better than anybody on the roster right now. Mm-hmm. Fair enough?
Definitely on the defense. The offense, it's a hodgepodge, right? I mean, you can say Gardner Minshew. I mean, you can say Cam. You can say the whole offensive line.
I just said about 5 names.
I know what I'm saying, but I'm saying on defense, for sure.
My point being, like, you wouldn't say, along with Gardner Minshew, there's Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and all these guys that are playing well. You might be able to make the case Miles Jack's playing as good as any linebacker in the game right now.
Gotcha.
I don't know that because I haven't watched every linebacker. But I wonder if you can say that. I think that's how good he's playing.
I would say so, right? I mean, the play that sticks out to me, obviously, is the Week 1 Colts. He had that missed tackle. But besides that, I mean, he's been very, very productive, been in the right spot at the right time, obviously, and making plays with athleticism. So I'm not opposed to that. It's just it's hard to get on board, though, saying he's the best linebacker right now in the league because that defense is so porous, right?
I know, and that's kind of my point. It's interesting that in your defense is giving up a lot, yet you can identify a guy who's playing really, really well. Sure. You can say it. I was probably being overdramatic about saying maybe the best in the league right now. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watched Demario Davis play a heck of a football game, it looked like the other day. He's a really good player. There's a lot of good players. But I guess that's what I was trying to bring out with a little hyperbole, most likely, is their defense is not playing great, but on this football team, even on a defense that's not playing great statistically, he is really looking good, and it's noticeable. Who was it the other day? In the Tennessee game, there's a pitch out to the side, and it wasn't Henry. It was one of their faster guys, I think, and Miles overruns the play. Mm-hmm. But if you really look at that play, he overruns the play because the guy cuts back. They actually showed a replay of it, and the guy puts a nice move on Miles Jack, and he cuts back.
Yeah.
And he makes a play. I forget who it was.
I forgot the guy's name. I know the play you're talking about. No, it was the run because Hayden actually does a good job of getting up toward the line and sending it back, and Miles Jack overran it because he didn't expect Hayden to do what he did.
Okay.
So that's where that came in. I know what play you're talking about.
But if you notice that play, I remember saying in live action, man, look at Miles, how fast he is. Yeah. Because if you see where he came from, and you see where he ends up, even though he was in overdrive and the guy's a little shifty and puts a move on him, which a lot of people would on a linebacker, you can just see the speed. And what I always say about Miles, this is why I like him so much, is that we point out his athleticism. Like, we point out speed, we point out agility, but the thing that is underspoken about Miles Jack is he is a violent football player. And he wants to hit you into next week. Like, he is one of those guys that can bring the physical nature to this football team, and it kind of is like, whoa, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of guys on this team, I don't know if you can say it, it's a physical game. The line, you never see that, but I'm talking big hits. Joe Schobert's probably not going to deliver big hits. Paul Posluszny used to be able to deliver a big hit.
Sure.
That's not the case. Telvin Smith wasn't going to deliver a big hit, right? He was going to go make plays. Well, this guy can deliver a big hit and go make those plays that Telvin Smith would make. Mm-hmm. That's what's unbelievable about him.
Yeah,
or can be if he can stay consistent.
No, for sure. Listen, I mean, the guys that do it all linebacker, right? Well, he's a do it all outside linebacker. I mean, he's got the speed. He's got because that's the thing with linebackers too, right? Like, sure, you can be a freak athlete and you can play running back and safety or whatever in college. You can have all this stuff, but you have to have that mindset, right? It takes a special person to stand in a hole and say, you know what? something's going to come at me right now. It could be a puller. It could be running back, but I have to take something head on. The question is, do you flinch or not? And that's what makes great safeties and great linebackers great. It's their fact that when they're staring down the barrel, if you will, they don't flinch. They actually go towards the danger. Some guys, it's like, I'm going to lean back a little bbit. I'm going to hope I tackle this guy and hang on for dear life. And some guys actually go at that person. Myles Jack can go at that person.
If it's going to be a tricky one now. If Myles Jack keeps playing like this, at the end of the year, will we say he's the best player on this defense? Even better than
Josh Allen.
41.
See, that's going to be hard to say, Brent, because I foresee Josh Allen, in the next couple of games to start, piling up some sacks. And we live in a football world where it's like it's sacks over everything. Cool, you had 100 tackles? Tackles. Tackles get paychecks, Brent. Sacks get the big money, you know what I'm saying? So I think if Josh Allen does what we expect him to do, I think it's going to be Josh Allen's show. But if Myles Jack can – and here's the thing about it too. Playing outside linebacker now, where you have the ability to get more tackles for losses. You have the ability to blitz a little more, maybe get some quarterback sacks, some turnovers, maybe create some chaos in the backfield. If we see that out of Myles Jack, then yeah, I'll call him the best player on the defense all day. But until I see more blitzing, until I see more chaos in the backfield, it's hard to say against Josh Allen.
Well, he does have a sack.
Yeah, you got one. Yeah.
He does have a sack. So we'll see what happens. I think what you're seeing here, it's been interesting. I'm going to be honest with the Myles Jack view that I've had. And it's like, okay, I hadn't talked to the media at all. Like, is he pouting a little bit? Is he trying to avoid this stuff? Is he just trying to stay focused? Did he get away? He said he went to Australia and all these places.
Yeah.
And it's like, or is this just kind of the maturation of a young player, and who had a lot of expectation and a lot of different responsibilities, and we're seeing it. And, I remember we had DJ Hayden was with Ashlyn Sullivan on Jaguars All Access a couple weeks back, and he was talking about, like, Myles Jack, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. The way he was talking about him, you could tell there was something different about Myles, or he's just very much appreciated in that room. And you didn't know where Myles stood on that, with all this stuff going on, with the Fournettes and the Ronnie Harrisons and the Jalen's and this little clique over here. Like, I did wonder, if I'm being honest, like, where did Myles fit in that? Like, is he part of that clique? Is he kind of a leader? He's captain again. Where is he? Like, it's a hard field, and especially this year because we're not in there and we're not talking to these guys as much as we used to. So I think the answer, if you watch this news conference today and what he was saying and what other guys are saying about him, is, well, he's obviously one of the pillars of this locker room right now.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Because you paid him that much money, right? At one time, he was the top 3 highest paid middle linebackers in the league. Now, I'm sure, since then, the salaries have gone up and everything like that. But regardless of that, you paid him the money, right? You showed him that, listen, we value what you do on the field, and we want to keep you for a long time. And now he's reciprocating that, and we're getting some high-level play out of Myles Jack.
Well, Myles Jack conversation. Next, the wall that says it all. Myles Jack didn't do anything wrong on this play, but the Jaguars as a defense
for this
did.
One.
Are you?
Because, you want to talk about, football, it's just a game of hitting each other. There's chess games going on, Brent. I'm about to break down a very interesting chess game going on the field.
Interesting. We'll have that coming up. It's a 5 o'clock hour here on a Wednesday, the eve before the Jaguars and the Dolphins play on Thursday Night Football. That game, of course, will be on Fox 30. By the way, on Fox 30 tonight at 7 o'clock, we will have Jaguars All Access coming up, conversation with Josh Allen and also Caleb on Chase on that show, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. We'll be right back here on ESPN 690.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zerorez. Can you believe that it has been 16 years since we started our little business? It has been wonderful meeting and serving all the good people of Jacksonville. My wife and I got into Zerorez because of the amazing powered water technology that set them apart from all the other carpet cleaners. Powered water has proven to be very effective over the years at cleaning carpets, tile, upholstery, rugs, and more. Zerorez is also proactive at developing and testing new equipment to provide the very best cleaning results possible. It's fun to be part of a company that is always trying to get better. For September, we are going back to our original price from 16 years ago. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $99. That's the hottest price of the year on carpet. So give us a call at 287-5727. Zerorez spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerorez. CGC Water is on a mission. If you are not filtering your water, you are the filter. The mission is to provide all who can hear this message with clean, purified drinking water, period. Up to 60% of the human body is made up of water, making the CGC Water mission vitally important to living a healthy life. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments and takes all necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. And this month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. Get peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified water. That's what we do at my home. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Join the mission and allow CGC Water to purify your drinking water. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Servicing Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jags Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jagscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and to watch your favorite teams at the start of football season, then make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474 and demand they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs. Make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville. The ride you want, the savings you need. Oh, and when it comes to credit approval, almost everyone gets approved. Sounds like it's time to get it all and get to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. Finding the best ride starts with big-time selection. And at Arlington Toyota, you'll find over 750 new and pre-owned on the lot every day. Right now at Arlington, shop over 100 quality pre-owned cars to buy at $0 down and just $199 a month. Looking for a truck or SUV? Arlington's got 50 quality pre-owned trucks and SUVs to buy at $0 down and $269 a month. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. Now, when I say get it all at Arlington, I mean it, because you'll get a 30-day exchange policy with your purchase. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Just another way that Arlington goes the extra mile for you. Get it all when you shop pre-owned at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on theirs. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years, servicing Jacksonville to St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. When your appliances quit, we're ready to get started. For quality repair at a price that's fair, visit AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
Everybody's taking advantage of Diamonds Direct's 5-year zero-interest financing offer. In fact, our store hours have been extended to include this Sunday to accommodate the demand. But hurry, this offer ends September 30th. Pick any item, get the Diamonds Direct amazing value price, make no down payment, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Whether your purchase is $3,000 or $30,000, you can do this. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit. And remember, we'll be open this Sunday afternoon for your convenience. Get details and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you can have control over your auto insurance costs by only paying for the miles you drive. Pay-per-mile car insurance comes with the same reliable coverage you've come to expect from Allstate, but is designed for people who aren't on the road as much. Drive less, save more with Allstate. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote.
Price based on driving behaviors and includes daily rates subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax and ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Doug Brown. The Miami Heat lead the Boston Celtics 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, but the Heat have trailed by double digits in all 3 games. Still, they've never lost a series after winning the first 2. Game 4 tonight, and our coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and TV. Legendary Bears running back Gale Sayers died today. He's the youngest player inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame at 34, and in the modern era, he played the fewest games of any Hall of Famer, only 68, with his career cut short by injuries. ESPN's Desmond Howard.
Watching him on the field, just how graceful he was, but then also after he retired and meeting him, he had such pride, such dignity, carried himself with such poise. He was just a man to look up to.
Desmond Howard on Get Up. Gale Sayers was 77. After losing Saquon Barkley with a torn ACL, the Giants signed running back Devontae Freeman to a 1-year contract, the deal worth up to $3 million.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting. That's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Like, obviously, Mike, you have way more communication responsibility, like getting guys lined up, kind of double backing on what you just said and Coach Marone said. But the alignments and pretty much playing on inside, I think you get a little bit more like buzz drops, which puts you on the outside in certain situations. But for the most part, you're kind of still in the mixture and everything. So you're kind of doing more scheme-wise, but it's really kind of similar. So it's like it's kind of the same, if I'm making sense.
That is Miles Jack, Jaguars linebacker. My goodness, Miles, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This is fifth year. How about that?
Wow.
Hey,
Time
Coos,
flies, man.
You turned me on to something the other day. And so last night I watched most
Tiger
all
King?
of it. Nope, Tiger King. Still stuck on 2.5 episodes of Tiger King.
Air 5, Brent.
That was it.
Still rolling strong with me, man. I appreciate that. Haven't seen an episode yet.
But
so cool.
Coos told me that he got freaked out a little bit by watching The Social Dilemma on Netflix. So I watched it. Of course, because the kids are like at the prime age of all this stuff. Remember, we were a little late in the giving the kids the phone.
Yeah.
So they've only had, I think, maybe not even a year.
It's good parenting.
Not bad. Now
I support you.
Questioning my parenting because I should have held out even more after watching The Social Dilemma.
They're in high school, though. You know, you gotta cave eventually. Whatever.
Yeah. But anyway.
What's up? What's it about?
It's like 90 minutes. I still have about 20 minutes to go, so I haven't seen the whole thing. Fantastic. I mean, it is one of the most fascinating things I've ever watched. Now, I don't watch as much as you guys watch in terms of shows and all the other things, so maybe you guys wouldn't consider it. I don't have a big sample of things to watch. I just think it's unbelievably put together. I think it's crafted very well, but also how like up to the minute it is. In terms, they even like I didn't think they'd have that much about the pandemic in there.
Yeah, they got everything. The thing that freaked me out the most was like how nervous everyone they had on, like right in the beginning,
it's a very good introduction.
They were all like kind of not sure.
They
if
were
they
basically
should be
like,
saying it.
because they felt like whistleblowers on it.
Yeah,
right. They did, but
So
they. And
what's the
I'll tell you what
premise of
else.
it?
Right
Yeah.
here is. Like, I understand there are smart people out there. We kind of kid you, like Ryan Fitzpatrick, like Harvard guy. Like, listen, Weber's like a 1400 SAT guy.
Yeah.
These guys make Weber look stupid.
Really?
I mean, these guys are smart. I mean, you can just say how well they do. Like the one guy, the main guy that talks a bunch with the beard, he is brilliant and very good at communicating it. Like stuff that's way over our head. But his illustration of it is so good. But these guys are all Stanford guys and Ivy League guys and all that stuff, and and gals too. And they are you can just tell they are brilliant people and how smart these folks are that built this whole thing, and everything else. In terms of social media and the phones and just this whole landscape of what we live in now that has changed our world in like the last 15 years completely.
There's a guy on there that literally can claim he invented the like button.
Yes, he did.
Like, what a flex.
That is a pretty good
It's a giant flex. Yeah.
And now feels bad about it.
Does he? He feels bad about it?
Well, I mean, not totally.
Now the way
his
it's
bank
being
account
used,
probably doesn't.
For sure.
But you know what's fascinating about these guys?
He got paid for making a like button?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's like the guy at Nike that gets paid to make like the curvature of the sole of the shoe. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's his claim to fame.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, so what? Well, that's a big deal there.
Was he that same weirdo that made the poke button?
I forgot about that. I don't think so.
Poke button's kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah, I actually, so for theater class back in college, I had to do like I had to write a whole scene out in a script, and it was why Facebook isn't like real life. And one of the things I featured in this play was the fact that like, you can't poke somebody in real life and get away with it, but on Facebook you can.
Interesting.
So it was kind of like a Black Mirror.
Well, there's a lot that you can't do
on
on real life that you can do on social media is what I learned from that show.
Interesting.
It is a fascinating thing. Seriously, if you get a chance to watch it, it's pretty good. And I haven't finished it. And I'll have questions about it when it's over because I don't know if they answer some of my questions. But it is just like, whoa, you know, and it makes you, like you got a notification today. And you start thinking.
It's going to put Brent's whole career in parallel because, like, he revolves around his phone. His career does. Now, all of a sudden, he's, like, seeing behind the curtain. He's like, I don't want to have social media anymore. I don't have my phone anymore.
There's a whole part about, like, the phantom buzz feel that you have from your phone and how they have you, like,
tied.
tied.
They brainwashed us.
Yeah.
I mean, we are
Don't say us, because I'm sitting peachy.
Nah, you're still
fine.
brainwashed.
I'm brainwashed?
You just don't understand it.
I don't have the phantom buzz feel.
But
we're all like,
I
we're
don't
all in
freak out
denial.
if my phone breaks and I don't have it for a couple of days. I don't do that.
We're all in denial about it.
Okay.
That we've been brainwashed,
I guess
manipulated.
I'm in denial.
It's unbelievable. Like you got to see it. You really, and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So you gotta see it to
I
believe
don't
it.
think you want me to see it because like I don't really do a lot of social media as it is. You want me to see this thing and be like, no,
Yeah, you
I'm
are
done.
trying to get him to do more social
I'm done.
media.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're trying to get me to post more. Do you really want me to watch this documentary?
Yeah, you should watch it.
All right.
Listen, I didn't like shut off my phone. I'm not that guy. Like I think a lot of people will watch it and be like, okay, turning off my phone. I'm throwing it away.
Yeah.
Everybody throw their phone away.
Rip up your credit cards. We're going to the woods, babe. Let's go.
We're in too deep.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we're committed.
There's no going
we're
back.
in too deep.
Okay.
But like what their goal now is to change the next generation who's really in deep.
So change
because
them
that's
back?
all they know. Like at least we know before the phones. These like my kids don't.
I know.
And so in essence, it's like, oh, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, until you get untrained. Or they find out a way to make it safer. It's really wild. Like, and by the way, I don't even know if is this like reach into like the people have different theories about this? Is this is this almost like a conspiracy theory I'm talking about? I don't even know about it.
It sounds like libraries came up with this documentary to try to scare people out of like going on their cell phones. Go back to the library and start reading again.
No, but the wild part is the whole thing, and then I'll stop. But you really should see it. Is all these guys and gals, they are like they either worked at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I didn't even know the WhatsApp app was so
WhatsApp's
popular.
Huge. Yeah.
And I also didn't realize the connection between Silicon Valley and Uber. But I guess there's a huge connection there. I didn't realize it until watching this. But anyway, they all either invented something, worked like as a director, produced something, monetized something at all those places. Then they went and started they worked at another thing, and then they have now all started their own thing.
Okay.
So they're like on their third tech job.
And they're miserable.
No, I think they're trying to create a better environment with it. I think that's what they're doing. But they felt like guilty making all the money or helping them make all money at Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all the rest.
What did we create? I have $1 billion mansion, but what did we create? Oh, no. Give me a break.
It was a conscience speaking a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not a give me a break. You won't feel that way watching it.
Yeah.
They're trying to do good with what they're messaging.
I hear you.
Is my take on it.
No, I got you, man.
The bottom line, it's not about them. It's really about us.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh,
we have problems.
Yeah.
We have problems. Ugh.
And the other thing way I thought of is, okay, how can we do this? I want to hire one of those people so we can manipulate more people to watch the show.
Now we're talking.
If I'm really being honest, that's what I got out of
all
that.
this power. Let's use it for good. Let's use it for our good.
Yes. How can we do this?
Let's brainwash people.
Are we tweeting the right things?
Let's brainwash people. Hashtags. Yeah, let's get it.
The other fascinating part about it, okay, I lied. This is the last one. Is it felt like you were at Disney on a ride when they have like the person behind the phone illustrations. Like it was like a concept they almost like took from like a Disney ride.
Huh.
Yeah, you got to see it. You got to see it and watch it if you haven't yet. Yeah. But it's pretty wild. All right, hey, let's dumb things down a little bit.
Yeah, football
and
sports.
Talk sports.
Yeah. Sports stuff.
We talked weddings and social media here today. But the wall that says it all.
Yeah.
This play was, in my opinion, a terrible play by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
By a Brent Martineau request once again. He wanted this one, and I chalked it up for him.
Yeah, last week I asked for the Gardner Minshew. I thought most underrated play of the game. That was a sidearm throw. This one is just one play we're taking a look at.
Yep.
And it's the play that Humphreys catches the touchdown on, where I thought they had played really good defense. Mm-hmm. And on the front half of this play, they did play good defense. On the back end of the play, in my opinion, they did not.
Correct. Yeah. So a lot of things to break down here, right? Because unfortunately, this play ended up for a touchdown for the Tennessee Titans. And I remember watching this play live, and you see Andrew Wingard with his back turned, right? A bad look trying to chase down Humphreys, and it's like, well, Wingard got burnt, and you saw DJ Hayden on Humphreys. It's like, what happened to DJ Hayden? He got burnt, right? So those were our very first two things that we went to. There's a lot more to break down in this video that, maybe the basic fan does not understand. Yes, it falls on Wingard a little bit. Yes, it falls on Hayden a little bit. But this play right here actually stems all from Mr. Josh Jones. Now, keep in mind, Josh Jones is the guy that replaced Ronnie Harrison. Josh Jones gets beat before the ball is even snapped, and I can't wait to tell you why here. The Jaguars lose this play right here before the ball is even snapped.
Really? Okay, because I want to give my illustration of this play, and this is the touchdown to Humphreys. And correct. Josh Allen hits Tannehill as he's throwing the ball, and he throws up a prayer. You remember the play from Sunday. Yeah. And I thought DJ Hayden got spun around, and it's like another example of, oh, man, Hayden not playing that great of football. Mm-hmm. So take us through the play.
Can I see the
We're
play?
Up.
Are we up? I don't see it on the screen. I have to see what I'm looking at.
Well, do you have the screen up?
Yeah. Is it up, Goose? Okay, well,
let me want to refresh your screen.
Let me get to that screen real quick, man. Sorry.
Social media king.
We're on the fly. Yeah, social media king. You better believe it. Now, of course, the internet's going slow. 1 second, please, everybody. Brent, you want to set up the play real quick where we're at?
So here's the play. As I just said, we know the play you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the
down
early stages of this play, it is 3rd down and 9 from the Jaguars' 18-yard line. And obviously, Ryan Tannehill has the football, he's in the shotgun, waiting the snap. And here, do you want to just look at my phone? Because your computer doesn't work, and you do have a phone that does work. But
yeah, it's all good, man. So check this out. All right, so we got a 3-by-1 formation, right? And pre-snap, we got 3 receivers on the right side, 1 receiver on the left side. Thank you very much, Kuz. Just got it done. And this is the first time I'm seeing this slide. Shout out to Marcel Robinson for getting this up, and it looks pretty good. All right, so pre-snap read, Brent, 3rd and 9. Big play right here. And I'm back.
I'm back. You are back. You just hit a new gear.
Oh, I know. You got to, man. You got to. So we got a 3-by-1 formation. And like I said, Brent, the reason why I love to break down this play because there's a chess game going on right now, right? There's a chess game going on to the educated minds of the game of football. The first thing that happens during this play, the pre-snap, tight end goes in motion. Miles Jack fouls the tight end. That tells Ryan Tannehill right now, you know what? They're in man coverage. You know, sometimes the Jaguars go in zone. Right now, they're in man coverage. That's tip number 1. Okay, so now let's fast forward a little bit. They're playing at home, no crowd. You can do any kind of hard count you want. Ryan Tannehill does a hard count. Now, when they're in man right now, Brent, like I just said, you see 2 safeties in the back. Now, and then this shot right here, you see Josh Jones, and then Wingard's obviously behind him.
Yeah, you don't see Wingard, but he's like in the end zone, essentially.
When this play started out, they were both on the same plane, right? So one would think, okay, man coverage, it's got to be cover 2 under, right? And basically cover 2 under means you have 2 safeties playing half of the field, you know, one side of the half, other side of the half, right? That's what Ryan Tannehill thinks right now. That's what anybody would think because the Jaguars run a lot of cover 2, okay? Simple as that. Ryan Tannehill does a hard count here. And when he does the hard count, Josh Jones makes a giant mistake. He tips off what he's doing, okay? Keep in mind where we're at right now. It's 3rd and 9. You can't give up a first down. They're on the 18-yard line, okay? So this turned in from a cover 2 under to Josh Jones creeping up and cheating a little bit, tipping it off, and it ended up being a cover 1 with a. Now, what does that mean? Cover 1 means that you have 1 safety in the back, and the robber means that you're coming up to try to prevent that first down. The robber's put in place to defend plays like, you know, a slant route, to defend plays like a hitch route, anything that's short yardage, obviously, to try to prevent this first down.
Which would be a safe play in the red zone.
Exactly. This is why we see Josh Jones in the frame right now, but we don't see Andrew Wingard because Josh Jones has now tipped the play. Ryan Tannehill sees the tip, and all of a sudden he checks out of something, and he calls something else, and he calls it to Humphries. He now knows that there's a cover 1 with a robber, and he now knows that he only has 1 safety in the back. He tips it off to Humphries, and Humphries adjusts from there. Now let's go to the second slide, please, Kuz.
It might take a few minutes to get to the second slide.
There's a delay.
Just because there's a delay.
Oh, there's a delay. That's right. Yeah.
That's kind of like
we should really. Okay. It's
what do you want to do?
Okay,
we have to. We have. It's just part of it.
Can we go to the one where he sat? The one without me. The other one.
That was just slipped to number 3. Ooh, a little sneak peek.
Little sneak peek of me coming up. Yeah.
Okay, you're good now.
I hope so.
It will be coming up.
I mean, I hope we're good.
This is like live TV, man.
Yeah, if it feels like it. All right, so number 2, check this out. All right, so Tannehill, once again, great pass by Tannehill. Stands in the pocket. Who do we got beaten down? We got Josh Allen beaten down, right? Literally a split second away.
This is the question you asked him yesterday, right? When you get so close to getting a play.
So close and gives up the touchdown, right? There's nothing more frustrating, and Josh Allen mentioned it yesterday, there's nothing more frustrating having a great pass rush move, and unfortunately, you're a split second. And it's not Josh Allen's fault. I mean, it was a good read by Tannehill, because keep in mind, Tannehill knows what's going on right now. He knows right now the Jaguars are going to cover 1 with the robber, and he knows that he's going to Humphries. If you watch this play and go back, he stares down Humphries the entire time. There's no check downs. There's no look downs. I'm going to Humphries, and I'm going to expose this defense. That's exactly what Ryan Tannehill had to do. Keep in mind, though, in order to do that, he had to wait till Humphries got out of his break. That's why he takes the hit right here. And give credit to Ryan Tannehill. I know we've been kind of critical about him, last season, getting all this money. He makes a very quarterback-savvy play. He stands in the pocket because he knows the throw is going to be there, but he has to buy as much time as possible. He waits till the last split second, gets the ball out. Josh Allen just misses a sack. And also keep in mind, we got Chase on right now rushing half a man. Chase on's coming to the party too. So we got 2 edge rushers right now, Josh Allen and Chase on. It's going to be a sack party, baby. Unfortunately, Ryan Tannehill, a little smarter this play.
And in live action, if you remember this play, and if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, you can see the illustration of it. But if you're in your car, you understand the play we're talking about. I mean, this is that one touchdown to Adam Humphries, made it 30-17 game. At the time, it was a 1 touchdown game. That field goal ends up, the touchdown versus a field goal makes a big difference.
Yep.
But it looks like a prayer. Mm-hmm. It looks like Tannehill's just throwing up a prayer. Well, what you were saying is he really wasn't. He was just waiting until the last second, waiting for the break to happen because he knows what's up. He already knows what's up. Before you get to the last part of this, Is that a read by a veteran QB, so you give the nod to the QB, or is that a pretty basic read? Like even Gardner Minshew in year 2, you should expect him to see something like this.
Listen, this is a pretty basic read because when you run a cover one with a robber, I mean, once you see that safety peel up a little bit, you know what it's going to be. Now, Josh Jones tries to cover his behind a little bit and tries to move back and try to disguise it. Unfortunately, Ryan Tannehill already knows what's up. So you have two options there if you're Josh Jones. You can either check out of him and go, hey, we got to go cover two. You don't really have time to do that here.
Too late.
So you kind of got to roll with it, right? So he tried to put on a best disguise as possible. He moved back a little bit, but as soon as the ball was snapped, it was obvious of where Josh Jones was going to go, and Ryan Tannehill knew that.
All right, slide 3 here, if you're watching on the video feeds, takes us to the, eventual conclusion of the play, which is a touchdown to Adam Humphries. And you can see Josh Jones all out of whack. You can see DJ Hayden got turned around on this play. That's why I initially thought it was him.
Yeah.
But he's really, maybe passing him off to where Josh Jones is supposed to be.
So a few things right now. Number one, Josh Jones, what I just say, it's cover one with a robber. That basically means he's taking the first down away. If you look at this slide right here, he's covering the first down, right? Like if there's going to be a slant route right there, Josh Jones had that all day. Here's the problem, though, and it's the basic fundamentals of how zone coverage works or how any kind of coverage works. I don't care if you're defensive end. I don't care if you're a safety or a cornerback. If there's nothing in front of you, you have to get back and get depth, okay? If you watch this play breakdown, as you can see on the screen right now, is there anything in front of Josh Jones to worry about?
No.
Nothing
a lot of green
at all,
grass.
Right? So if there's all green grass right now, and I get it, your job is to stop the first down, but there's nothing in front of you. So go ahead and get a little more depth, right? Go ahead and move back a little bit because guess what? If there's nothing in front of you, as any coach would tell you, there's something going on behind you. So here, Josh Jones should have got a little more depth because he sees nothing in front of him. If he gets a little more depth, now you make a very tight window for Ryan Tannehill to try to get that corner route to Adam Humphries. So that's Josh Jones' mistake right there. Hayden's mistake, right? Hayden, obviously, he had him man, but he knew that he had a safety backside, right? Now, once again, if Josh Jones would have dropped a little more, you pass it off to, Josh Jones, and Hayden is okay.
Yep.
The problem was, though, that Josh Jones wasn't there. He was too shallow. And the problem with Hayden was that he thought he was there, right? So now there's a miscommunication. Hayden thinks that he has inside help. He made the right play by pushing Humphries, obviously, inside because that's where the help is. The problem is though, that help is too shallow right now. And then on the backside of things, Andrew Wingard, right? So when we go cover one with a robber, Brent, you have one center fielder. That's a lot of space to cover in the backside, right? You're asking a lot of Wingard right now. Let's keep in mind, a very young player, right? Doesn't have a lot of starting experience. You're asking a lot of him right now. And it made him look bad on this play because you see him chasing like, man, I got to get there. Well, let's be honest. You're essentially asking a guy to cover the entire end zone right now, okay? And you have Adam Humphries, who's a very good route runner, running a corner route. So Wingard sees this, he recognizes it, and he tries his best to make up for the mistakes that his other teammates made. Unfortunately, he's just a shade too slow. The ball gets there, and it's touchdown for the Tennessee Titans. So who does this fall on? It falls on Josh Jones for tipping it off number one and not getting deep enough number two. It falls on Hayden because he kind of let the receiver go inside, didn't stick with him. And it falls on Wingard just a little bit because the recognition was a tad too late. And obviously, it was a touchdown after that. It just goes to show you the chess game being played right now.
Yeah,
Brent.
absolutely. And how three guys can kind of have a little bit of a role in one receiver catching a touchdown.
Yeah.
Although, based on what you were telling me, I feel like this is really a Josh Jones mistake. Like, he is the guy to blame because it's hard to pin a blame on Hayden if he's forcing a guy inside because he expects a guy to be there.
Correct.
I mean, that's part of the game. That's what you do. Those are part of your rules and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hard to blame Wingard. I mean, listen, he is who he is. I mean, he's not, what's his name, who just got let go by Earl Thomas.
Correct.
Right? I mean, Earl Thomas maybe catches up to this play or maybe uses his savvy because he's been around the block a while, and maybe makes a play. But it looks like it's asking a lot of Wingard. And this is the one that looks bad to the free safety. Like, Wingard was the guy everybody blamed.
Correct.
The narrative coming out of that game, and I'm not saying he made a lot of great plays and maybe he had other plays, but this is the play that looked so bad on TV and had people saying, man, you got to get somebody else at free safety. Wingard looks really bad. Blah, 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 blah. Well, it's at this play, maybe it wasn't really him. My question on the Josh Jones thought is this isn't a young guy. This is a guy who's been around a little bit, was in Green Bay, he's played a little football. They've got a lot of young guys. They're going to make young guy mistakes. They can't afford to make these kind of mistakes, right? And again, hat tip to Tannehill, gets the job done. He sees it. Sometimes you do this and you get away with it because the guy doesn't see it. But they really need their guys that have played football before and to make the right plays and not tip things off like this or make the right mental play. And it looks like Josh Jones didn't here.
See, this is a difference, Brent, between fantastic defenses and mediocre or porous defenses. It's the details, right? If Josh Jones doesn't tip what he's trying to do and the ball is snapped, I think that Adam Humphries runs maybe like a 9 or like an 8-yard, just, an in route, and Jones is there to make the tackle. And if you make the tackle, probably going to be 4th down, right? But off one little tip, off of one little thing, when you step forward a little bit and Ryan Tannehill sees that, it changes the entire game around. Simple as that.
This is when they say, it's easy to clean things up because, this is an easy cleanup. Just don't tip it off.
Don't tip it off. Exactly. And then if you do tip it off, that's fine, but then get depth. Once again, I don't want to just single out Josh Jones here because if Hayden would have stuck with him a little more, he helps out. If Wingard would recognize it a little more, then he helps out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it starts with Josh Jones, but you had 3 guys who could have stepped up and tried to make the play.
Well, and this is one of those things, too, where you could say, normally, well, what if they got a little pressure? Well, this play they did.
They did get pressure.
They got pressure. Josh Allen almost got home on this play.
Yeah.
So he should have impacted. He had to make the clock of Tannehill go a little quicker.
Sure.
So if the back end could have done its job just a little bit more, well, then they probably make a play on this. They kick a field goal instead, and then who knows how this game shakes out.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Brent, because this is going to be my last point of the show here. So we talk about the Jaguars not getting a pass rush, right? Their lack of quarterback sacks right now. If Josh Jones takes 3 more steps backwards and finds that hole right there to cover up Humphries a little bit, Ryan Tannehill cannot throw that ball. He has to hold that ball, and guess what happens then? Josh Allen sack or Chase on sack, and we're celebrating the backfield.
Yeah.
That's the difference literally between, maybe like a fumble from a quarterback or just even a sack. That's the difference between a sack or a touchdown right there is a couple yards.
My frustration with this play, one is it just looked like a play. It looked like a Hail Mary almost, but you're giving it a little more credit, which is cool. Good to see here on the wall that says it all. But my frustration with this play in particular was that the Jaguars, I think, had their best sequence on defense in this 3-play span. I think it was Gotsis who got Derrick Henry behind the line of scrimmage on 1st down for a 3-yard loss. And then it was DeJuan Smoot, who, if you really go back and watch DeJuan Smoot on 2nd down, it was a sensational play, in my opinion. Never gave up on the play. Ends up being a 4-yard screen pass, but he almost had a sack, almost might even had a strip fumble, ends up with the tackle because he sees everything and doesn't really just go chase one guy. And then, lastly, they get pressure. One of the few times we saw pressure on Tannehill, and they still are not able to convert defensively on 3rd down. So that's where the frustration, it was like, man, they can't make 3 plays in a row, right? It's kind of, that's what I left. I was like, well, they just can't make 3 in a row right now.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, you're going to have to. Now, later in the game, they forced some punts and they made some more plays, but that's a pretty big sequence because it gives up 7 points instead of 3.
Huge sequence,
and especially the way Gostkowski really was kicking overall in the first couple of weeks. You don't even know if it's going to be 3 points.
Exactly, man. And at the end of the day, listen, I don't care if you're in Pop Warner, I don't care if you're in college or in the NFL. If you're running a robbery and you're a safety, the whole point of robbing somebody, don't let them see you coming.
That's a good point.
There you go.
That makes sense.
That's why they call it Cover 1 robbery. See, we're all learning something today.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Don't let them see it coming.
No doubt about it. Hey, I want to remind you, if you haven't voted yet, you can still vote for our ESPN 690 Athlete of the Week. Got a bunch of votes in on our Athletes of the Week nominees. That voting will close, by the way, on Friday around 3 o'clock. We'll announce the winner, and it's a very close vote. Walter Simmons, Oakleaf football, Bryce Tompkins, Baldwin football in a battle. Harrison from Nice, cross-country runner, who is a star runner, up for the nomination this week for our ESPN 690 Athlete of the Week, presented by Honda of the Avenues. We'll reveal the winner on Friday night's Blitz Scoreboard Show. That's at 9 o'clock on ESPN 690 and all the video platforms as well. Jaguars and Dolphins tomorrow night right here in Jacksonville. That game will be on Fox 30. Don't forget, Fox 30 pregame show, 6:30, a 90-minute pregame show. And then we'll have kickoff there on Fox 30 between the Dolphins and the Jaguars. A little more coming up tonight. One more segment to go here on the show. We'll take you right up until 6 o'clock, and then it's live, local, loud, right here on ESPN 690. We'll be back.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy and nice tonight. We'll drop into the 60s. Partly sunny, a little bit warmer, a little bit more humid tomorrow with an isolated shower. Highs in the mid to upper 80s for you Thursday. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save thousands right now with Beard's unbeatable deal.
Hey, we're fired up to tell you all about Fields Auto Group. We had such a good experience recently. My wife is leasing a Cadillac XT6. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville was awesome to work with. Different level customer service with Fields Auto Group. No matter what you're driving, you can step up to luxury for less now at any of the Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Have Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Do what we did. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Hey, boss, guess who I saw at the grocery store today?
I don't know. Elvis?
No, I saw your mom.
Ah, she doing good today?
Yeah, she's great. Said to say hello. Oh, and to thank you again for the Safe Touch security system you got her.
Ah, Safe Touch. The source of all my internal conflict.
Huh?
See, on one hand, as a cook, I hate Safe Touch security. But as a son, I love Safe Touch because they help protect my ma.
Yeah, she loves having the medical and panic buttons. Oh, and the two-way communicator's been great. She says Safe Touch makes her feel safe.
And so my personal tug-of-war continues. I hate...
Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah. Unless it's Mom's house.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Join ESPN 690 in Shopping the 904. When you help businesses here on the First Coast, you're really helping all of us. And it keeps our local economy going. That means jobs. 2020 has been a really tough year, especially for locally owned businesses. And you can make a difference when you shop local. So if you live in St. John's, Duval, Baker, Clay, Nassau, or other surrounding counties, shop local. Shop the 904.
Shop the 904.
HBI, a national leader for career training in the building industry, is providing training, certification, and placement in the construction industry for veterans, their spouses, and children that are over the age of 18 at no cost. The following 2020 class dates are being offered: August 10th, September 14th, October 19th, and November 16th. For more program and class details, please call Joe Jones at 407-717-7609 or visit the website at hbi.org. That's hbi.org.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Home is meant to be our safe place, but heart attacks and strokes don't stay home. Don't avoid the ER out of anxiety. Don't die of doubt. Don't stay silent, and don't stay home. If you have an emergency, call 911 immediately. When seconds count, the hospital is the safest place to be. Visit heart.org/don't die of doubt. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, locally supported by
Mayo Clinic Jacksonville.
Are you ready for a new ride? Then your wait is over. It's the Today's the Day sales event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Today's the day for you to drive away from Arlington one really happy customer in your brand new Toyota. That's because you'll get 0% for 60 months on all new 2020 Camrys, Corollas, and RAV4s. 0%. How about getting a new Toyota Plus, no payments for 90 days? Today's the day because that's exactly what you'll get at Arlington. And did I mention 2 years of free maintenance? Yes, Today's the day you get your new Toyota at Arlington, plus 2 years of free maintenance. And with every new vehicle purchased from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind, thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Today is most definitely the day to get the Toyota you really want at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. Today is the day for full details.
Everybody's taking advantage of Diamonds Direct's 5-year zero-interest financing offer. In fact, our store hours have been extended to include this Sunday to accommodate the demand. But hurry, this offer ends September 30th. Pick any item, get the Diamonds Direct amazing value price, make no down payment, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Whether your purchase is $3,000 or $30,000, you can do this. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit. And remember, we'll be open this Sunday afternoon for your convenience. Get details and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified pairing appliances from more than 35 years, with a 90 and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Repair it. Trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
A healthier you is the first step toward a healthy. Baby steps toward better health can deliver big results. A balanced diet will help you reach or maintain a healthy weight, baby. Taking a multivitamin contains folic acid every prevent birth defects. And regular medical and dental checkups are especially important when planning pregnancy. To learn more about taking your baby steps toward a healthy pregnancy, call Florida's Family Health Line at 1-800-451-2229.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into a business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
First Coast No More Homeless Pets Veterinary Hospital provides premium veterinary care for less. 7 days a week, a full range of services with compassionate care. Pet owners shouldn't have to choose between paying bills or a healthy pet. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The facial hair gauntlet has been thrown down as this Thursday, it's Fitzmagic versus Minshew Mania. And Ryan Fitzpatrick launched the opening salvo saying this about mustaches.
I think guys that grow mustaches a lot of times have patchy sides for their beards, so they just stick with the mustache.
And then Jags quarterback Gardner Minshew responded in kind with this.
Yeah, I think I've shown I can grow a beard with no patchy sides. But you know, I'm gonna have respect for my elders. You know, especially when they're much older.
It'll all be settled tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football when the Jags face the Dolphins. And elsewhere in the NFL, the BOAT, Blake Bortles, was just signed to a 1-year contract in Denver to help ease their injury-plagued quarterback room. You're working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brett Martineau.
They probably already have one. Cornholing.
Austin Lane.
You're going to have a call from PR in a little bit here.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I truly firmly believe is last year I wasn't healthy, and I forced myself to play through injury just because of I just felt like I didn't want to get paid and then just say I got an injury, which I did have an injury at the time. But this offseason I went to Australia, found a trainer out there. I just been working my ass off the whole offseason. Just kind of really just refocused myself, got back to the basics. I really treated myself like a high schooler. It was just hitting the weights, trying to get myself stronger, get my body right, get my knee back right. And I just really feel like that's attributed to just my training and just getting back healthy and really hitting the weights this year, because I felt like when I kind of got in the league, I didn't really lift as much as I should have. So I kind of really went back to the basics, got my body right. And I feel like that's why I'm moving so quick and I'm able to hit linemen the way I can, or make tackles, or just fly around and just move fast.
That is Miles Jack. Interesting, you went to Australia to get a trainer.
Yeah. I mean, those Aussies do it differently, I guess, huh?
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's good to hear from Miles Jack. It's good to hear what he's saying, and kind of a refocused and kind of a reflective Miles Jack, right? And guys play through injuries all the time. You got to give him credit for that. I get that thinking, right? He would have taken a lot of heat probably last year, not making it through a season, not playing, just got paid, just would add to the narrative. Now, didn't play great anyway, so there was already a bit of a narrative, but it would have been a different one. And in retrospect, you appreciate the fact that he tried to push through and play through, and especially at that position where they needed him to. Yeah. Didn't have a lot of depth there, I don't think, last year. So I got feeling good about Miles Jack today.
You should be, man. He's talking to me
buying
again.
What he's selling.
He's back, man. He's playing good football right now. How couldn't you buy into Miles Jack?
Yeah, well, I've always been kind of a buyer on Miles Jack. I feel like he's going to be a good player, and he's off to a very good start.
Kuz, are we good back there right now?
Is Kuz going through some things?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
I thought you shouted something.
Nope.
You sure you didn't shout anything?
I didn't shout anything.
Okay.
Now it's more, are you okay? Because you're hearing things.
I don't think I did, but all right.
No, we're good.
Do you think it picked up on the mic?
That's what I was worried about, yes. But I think we're fine. Yeah.
Was it a good one?
It was a juicy one.
Was it?
It was a juicy one.
I didn't hear it.
I know. What's up with your? I had the bad hearing, not you.
Well, you have one ear open.
I know, because my bad hearing. No, because these headphones, it's like I'm underwater. If I put both of them over my ears, so I got to take one out.
Yeah,
that's how the kids are wearing them
these
these
email
days.
Tomorrow will be like, doors closed from now on all the time.
Please, not. It's so hot in here. We close those doors. You know how I sweat, Brent. We got to keep those doors open, please.
Hey, quick thought on college football. Two of them, really. Florida Gators picked to win the SEC East. I say settle down. Settle down. You got to beat the champs.
To be the champ, you got to beat the champ, right?
I mean, it's interesting, right? This could certainly happen this year. But I still think I've got to see it to believe the gap is closed to the point where Florida's going to beat them.
Yeah.
They have been outscored. Shoot, I just did this number the other day. I want to say it's 101-42 in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. They have not scored over 17 points in a game, the Gators, against Georgia. And Georgia's got some issues now. I don't know what's going on with the quarterback stuff.
And
they got other
that's a big
issues.
issue, Brent.
Yeah,
that's a huge issue.
It is.
Now,
but
they have a great
also,
defense still, but
they have shown that they have player after player after player. And this guy, meaning Kirby Smart, has also shown that we might not know exactly what they have in quarterback, but they have quarterbacks. From Jacob Eason to Justin Fields to Jake Fromm. And they've won a lot of games with those guys. And Dan Mullen's done a great job to put him in this position. I'm not trying to take away from Florida, but I'm also not ready to crown Florida. I mean, you got to go earn it. And they are probably equipped to be as good as they've been yet under Mullen.
Mm-hmm.
And, Florida fan right now is saying, hey, well, listen, we finished top 10 in the country 2 years in a row. Yeah. And you're right. Why don't I get the sense are they ready to take that next step? I don't feel like they're stacked with the kind of talent the Alabamas, the LSUs, even the Georgias, the Oklahomas, the Ohio States have had. And I might be wrong. I mean, listen, we don't know this football team very well. Dan Mullen's been very quiet they just released their roster earlier this week in terms of depth chart and who's playing all this stuff. So he's earned a chance to be there and right there. I just don't know if I was picking that I'd be willing to get that far. I mean, it's not a bad pick from an odds standpoint.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, hey, listen, I'm going to say who's going to win the East. I've got Georgia winning the East until they show me they can't win the East. That's the way it's been the last few years.
Well, see, and I think, in sports media, we get so wrapped up with narratives sometimes, right? Like right now, the narrative is that there's a quarterback problem in Georgia, or at least we're led to believe that, right? But from the past, regardless of what has happened, who's transferred, like Georgia always seems to find a way to have good quarterback play. And then you want to throw in, whoa, this new quarterback and this COVID-19 stuff, yeah. Okay, I get that. But I think that if we look at the NFL right now or college football, one thing that remains the same, that remains the constant, if you will, is the fact that good teams are still good, okay? Like, good teams aren't declining. Whether it's the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it's the Ravens, whether it's Alabama last week putting it up. How many against Citadel? They put up some big numbers.
Clemson.
Clemson, I'm sorry. Clemson. Like, regardless of how many losses, how many this, it's the good teams are going to be
just
good.
Just recycles itself.
Exactly, it recycles itself. Thank you. And with Georgia, they've found a great way to recycle themselves. Might have one of the best defenses they've ever had on that team. So if you have a great defense and you have decent quarterback play, you're going to be a team. Simple as that. And you have to ask the question from the Florida perspective, how confident are you now in Kyle Trask? I mean, is he the guy that can lead the Florida Gators, beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and everybody else?
Yeah, and I think there is a confidence about Trask. I mean, he's shown a lot, but can he take that next step? And I think they're going to be good. I do. I think I don't think their floor is very low. Right? I think they're a 7-win team at worst, even given the schedule. They're probably an 8-win team at worst. The thing is, can they get to 10 and can they make noise, like that? Now, they might only need to win 9 and beat Georgia. So again, it most likely is going to come down to this game here on November 7th. And it's okay to pick them and kind of think, okay, it can happen. I'm just a little surprised that the preseason polls have them winning. There was enough people to say, yeah, we believe it. They're going to beat them. Is there enough there on paper for Florida to say that? I don't know. I don't know if I feel the same way. Or maybe I'm just being a little bit of a Gator hater right now. I don't. I mean, maybe I am. I just don't. I just don't know if I'd be willing to go that far right now for the Florida Gators. Hey, one other thing about college football: how much of a concern is the COVID stuff? Because the COVID stuff is popping up. Notre Dame canceled. USF game now canceled against FAU. I think there might have been a couple of other cancellations.
How's the Big Ten feeling right now?
The Big Ten's about to well, they're not. They've still got a bit. But the SEC is about to fire up. The Big Ten has said we're coming back. I think there's some other conferences voting like Friday whether they're going to come back. Obviously, the Pac-12 is still kind of out there laying in the weeds. I don't know. It just feels like all of a sudden in the last couple of weeks, when you got Notre Dame canceling and you have some more, this is not, last weekend there were like 2 or 3 cancellations, maybe even more. This week there's going to be another 2 or 3 cancellations, maybe even more. Kind of walking on eggshells in college football, I would say.
We are walking on eggshells right now. And let's be honest, the NFL have had how many COVID cases? Like almost 0, right? It's 0. I mean,
it's a different animal.
It's a different animal, right? You know why it's a different animal? Because you have professionals who make a lot of money who understand what's at risk, okay? In college football, you still have students. And what do students like to do? They like to socialize. They like to go out to parties and do all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, I mean, like, listen, if school is going to be in session and if kids are on campus, the parties aren't going to go anywhere, okay? You're not just going to say, all right, guys, no more parties. Just go to class every single day. Go home and watch Netflix. Doesn't work like that, right? So students are still going to socialize together. And if you have that, well, some football players probably are going to follow suit here. And you're going to have these outbreaks and more pandemics and things like that. So, listen, I mean, I don't know where we go from here, Brent. You know, like, I don't like games getting canceled. That's not a good look. Do you make those games up? You just can't. Like, what do you do with those games now? You know, like, it's not like baseball where you have, like, this, you know, the brilliance of a long season where it's like, all right, we can do doubleheader here, doubleheader here, and hopefully we'll make everything up. Football doesn't work like that. So, like, teams have to be held accountable here. And I don't want to say, like, they should penalize the team and say, all right, that's a loss for you guys. You can't play. I mean, I don't know if that's fair, but something has to be done because, once again, kids are still going to go out and do what they do. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's just something to watch. It's my antenna's up on it a little bit because we're just seeing it more and more. Now, there are more games to pick from in college as well, and the dollars aren't there. That kind of, you know, protected bubble of the NFL, which even though it's not a bubble, it kind of feels like there's so many protocols that they've put themselves in the bubble to stay healthy, and the rapid testing and the constant testing and the ability to do it. And also less teams to worry about, quite frankly, and less players. 32 teams, 53 players, now more with the practice squad. So they've got this down, and it's been working, and it's been working pretty effectively. And what happens when the NFL has it? Like, don't you think it's coming soon? Somebody's going to have a little bit of an outbreak. Like, they can't get through this whole season without it, I wouldn't think.
I don't think so. I mean, someone's going to come down with it. The matter comes, can you contain it, right? Can you just, maybe it's like 2 or 3 players, not a whole team. Time will tell, but I just think the fact that you have a bunch of professionals that are getting paid money and they know how to go about their business is different than college kids.
Absolutely. Okay, a couple other quick thoughts. Celtics tonight, Lakers last night, Nuggets back in the series, which means they're going to get behind 3-1, but this time they won't come back.
See, I mean, you keep making these accusations, and you're keeping being wrong here. So you said last night that the Celtics were the Lakers were going to win.
Yeah, I thought so.
Nuggets won.
It's all right. I'm not worried.
I mean, how many houses you lost, man?
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Okay, you're not worried about what? Anything like?
I'm not worried about the Lakers.
Okay, what about the Celtics and the Raptors?
No, this is a good. Celtics and Heat is a good one. I think I'm not as confident in the Celtics.
Okay,
but it would be nice to get the series 2-2.
One thing I will say is the Heat in every game this series have started off within the first 4 minutes down by like 7 or 8 points. They never start out with a lead.
Yeah, it's been hard for the Celtics to close. I mean, they could easily. You don't like me to say easily, but they really could be up 3-0. I mean, they didn't close out those first 2 games.
Yeah.
Remember, they had the big block in the dunk, and then first game they had a big lead, like midway through the fourth quarter, I think, and surrendered that. So, I mean, this could easily be a different.
Same thing with Denver too. Remember, Anthony Davis, the game winner.
True.
Denver should be up 2-1
That's true.
right
It could
now.
be 2-1. I just think Game 3 might have been a little different if they were 1-1, but you might be right.
Yeah.
So, you don't know how it plays out. It would be nice to see the Celtics and Heat. It's a good series.
Yeah.
It's been a good series through 3 games. It'd be really nice to see this one go 7. So that's what I'm rooting for. I still don't think the Nuggets will push to a 7 game on the other side.
Well, who do you got tonight, man?
I'll take the Celtics.
Take the Celtics? Yeah, I'll take the Celtics. Hey, we're on the same boat for once. I'm taking the Celtics, too. I think, listen, keep in mind what happened with the Celtics, right? They lose game 2. They have an epic meltdown in the locker room, or so we heard, fighting, shouting, all this stuff. They have a team meeting. And since that, they look pretty good. Sometimes you need a little chaos. Sometimes you need a little drama to boost that team to a new stratosphere of talent.
Do you like the teal uniforms? Teal on teal. Think about it.
Yeah.
Play with your color combinations.
I know. See, I'm more of a black pants, teal jersey kind of guy. Or black trousers, as the Ryan O'Halloran would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Ryan?
I'm excited about the teal on. Oh, let's stop the car. Not excited about it.
Brent's got a man crush on the teal jersey.
No.
Yeah.
I think the uniform stuff is the most overrated stuff there is. But I am kind of looking forward. Like, I feel like that's a good Thursday night look.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by it. I like it. I'm looking forward to it.
Better than the mustard.
Well, listen, for a team that tried the mustard uniforms, this thing is a no-brainer.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hey, let's be honest, teal is who they are, right? I mean, teal is the primary color.
It made the first time in the team's history.
I can't wait to see it.
Do a little poll tomorrow. See if they like it.
Yeah.
See if the folks like it out there.
Are we going to wear teal tomorrow, or what's the plan?
We're in teal tonight on Jaguars All Access. I know that. That's coming up at Fox 30 at 7 o'clock. If you want to wear teal tomorrow, we do it.
All right.
Just make sure it's actually teal, because that shirt I made on the social media, I tweeted out yesterday, was not teal.
I was wondering, is that what you got a little...
I guess.
A little pushback for?
They're like, it's not teal and it's not his mustache. I was like, okay, well, I did it in 5 seconds.
Oh, you needed the beard mustache shirt?
Yeah. Hey, you got to be careful now. Jags Twitter will come after you.
Yeah, man.
Those guys don't mess around.
Don't go against them.
I was told by a few Jags fans they're disappointed.
Yeah, it's fun to go against them. Just be ready for it.
Get out that pail.
We'll see you again tomorrow on ESPN 690. Game day tomorrow on Fox 30. Hey, everyone. This is Brad Martineau from